She's dead. Wrapped in plastic.
Welcome to the Twin Peaks Podcast.
Damn good coffee. And hot. Would everyone please take a seat?
Welcome to the Twin Peaks Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Mel. Oh wait, sorry.
That's fine. Let's do our names first. That's Mel. Who else we got? What is the order? I can't remember.
I think Brad's supposed to be next.
I think Brad is
Oh,
next.
well, I'm next. It's me.
I'm Caitlin.
Yeah.
And we have our guest, Matt A.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for being here, everyone. Before we start, for any new listeners or old listeners who stuck with us, I have a statement to hopefully avoid problems down the road.
Hey, assholes, pay attention. Yes, you, the one who's about to leave a 1-star review. Pay attention. This is probably directed at you.
Alright, so before we begin, I have a statement to make about how we plan to discuss this show. In this podcast, we're going to be honest about what we think and how we feel about this show. If we don't like something, we aren't going to sugarcoat it. If you are sensitive to criticism of Twin Peaks, David Lynch, or his art, this podcast may not be for you. We will try to be fair and not hate on things, just to hate on things that we don't like or don't get. We will try to explain our thought process so you can understand where we're coming from, but we will definitely make our opinions, both good and bad, known. That's just the type of podcast we are. That being said, there's a lot here to like, and I hope that if you do disagree with any of our takes, that you see it as an invitation to start a dialogue and have a conversation with us. Remember, television is a form of art, and art is subjective. So you've been warned. I just thought I'd bring that up, as it was an issue in the past when we were reviewing the films of David Lynch. And with that, let's get on with the show.
It's pretty sad that you have to put that disclaimer.
I know.
What does that say about you David Lynch sycophants out there?
Can I also add, we're going to try to have fun while talking about this, and if that's a problem for you, that might be an issue for you.
I should have included that, yes. There's a lot of podcasts out there that are, strictly, just philosophical,
very dry,
waxing poetic,
yeah.
And we're all about fun here. We are the bouncy castle of Twin Peaks podcasts.
I like it. That should be your tagline.
Okay, so Twin Peaks is back, guys.
Oh my god.
Were you super excited going into the first episode, or did you try to lower expectations?
Let me just say this. We all knew this was coming. But it didn't really sink in until about 2 weeks ago for me. And I was like, oh wait, that's in a couple of weeks. Oh crap. I gotta get ready for this. Yeah, I was pretty excited.
Did you do any sort of rewatching of anything?
I was able to rewatch. At the last minute, I was able to get in the first 5 episodes, the last episode, and Fire Walk with Me.
Cool.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid.
I was planning on rewatching at least one episode when Matt and I did a commentary, but he never invited me to do a commentary, so therefore I never watched any since. Yeah.
I don't remember. I still need to do a commentary for Fire Walk with Me. You can come on that.
I don't remember being a dick.
I think I'm busy that day.
Being a dick, that doesn't sound like me.
What about you, Caitlin? Did you prepare for anything?
I had done some rewatching before we reviewed the book when it came out.
So it's recently.
It was, yeah, and I haven't done anything since reading the book. I kind of was just kept away from all news and speculation and stuff, and just went into it blind.
You'll have to tell, me, and those of us who haven't read the book, when certain aspects of the show crop up where it's that was referenced in the book, or that's better because I read the book, or that contradicts what was in the book. I want some book knowledge.
Oh,
So
I've got some
I don't
really
have
good news
to
for
read
you.
it.
I've got some super great news. If anyone hasn't read the book, don't even bother because it's completely thrown out the window. I'm pretty sure.
I
Yeah.
noticed a few things that could tie
Oh, really?
in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just noticed we've still got a log lady. We still got a Dr. Jacoby. A lot of people died in that book. That
Or was that? I think that was his brother who died.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
mother
it was his
died.
brother.
Yeah.
oh, I thought he died as well. Okay.
No. All right. Well, Caitlin's on a time limit, so we should get her into these 2 episodes that we have about an hour and a half to review. Okay. So it starts out with a few recap clips of the original show, and then bam, we're in with the Giant and Cooper, and it's black and white. And the Giant is giving cryptic clues like he likes to do.
I like black and white Black Lodge.
Is it the Black Lodge? I guess it must be.
I mean, it's at least similar.
Yeah.
Adjacent?
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's like the Giant was like one of the only people who was nice to Cooper in the Black Lodge, so I'm wondering if it's like his little like apartment that he has with Coop for the past 25 years, just keeping him safe.
Aww.
Because he does say like there's something in our house.
Yeah, like, oh, time to call pest control.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And there's a mention
They're like
of
a married couple now. Aw.
yeah.
Get the weed eater. It's another arm growing.
Cooper does the cooking, the Giant washes the dishes.
Yes.
But it looks like every time you look at Cooper, like, he always looks like he's just sitting in the chair, kind of like he can't do anything.
It's kind of
I'm
stupefied.
wondering, yeah, like, I'm just wondering if he's been able, like, if he's, like, autonomous, like, if he can actually move around whenever he wants, or if they're basically telling him when to move around.
I hope they let him get up and use the bathroom.
There's no need for
But
that
I don't
here.
know, like, does he even eat? Like, I don't know if he does. Like, it's been 25 years.
Anytime he tries to take a drink, his coffee is solid, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's wearing the same outfit, so I mean, I don't think they have, like, a rack of suits in a closet somewhere. Like, I don't think so.
Hygiene matters not in the Black Lodge.
No. It's self-cleaning.
So
there.
when he gets out, will he feel like no time has passed because they don't know what time it is because it exists like out of time?
Yeah.
Remember they're saying like, is this the future? Is this the past? They don't know what time they're in, therefore it's all passing in a blink of an eye for him.
Yeah,
maybe?
like when he gets out, do we expect him to be like, just, I'm A-okay, let's go? Or like, is he going to be affected somehow after 25 years in here? That's a good question. The Giant mentioned something about somebody named Richard and Linda and some number that I didn't catch. 263 or something? I can't remember the number.
4:30,
430? Okay.
something like that.
I'm just gonna move on to the next scene, but if anyone else has anything to say about a scene that I'm moving on from, stop me.
Well, maybe after we do the feedback, there'll be prompts to circle back around to certain things.
Probably. So next we go to Twin Peaks. Assuming it's Twin Peaks, there's an establishing shot of Twin Peaks, and then we go to a trailer, and there's
We're
a
gonna
man...
talk about the new theme,
Oh, I guess yeah. We could talk about
or the
opening.
new opening credits, I guess.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Not really.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I felt like puking at some points though.
Oh yeah. That
Just because
floor.
it was like the floor,
spinning.
I was like, whoa. But yeah, it was kind of cool.
It put me in the mood for Twin Peaks, which I'm not sure is what I got. So next, we got Jacoby. Well, we have a man coming out of a trailer and getting a shipment of something. It's revealed to be Jacoby. You can tell because he takes his glasses off, and underneath are red and blue glasses.
I love that.
That was a great shot, but I feel like a lot of the show, and this scene starts it, is done in long shots, in like almost establishing shots, and I bet they do have like a close-up of like Russ Tamblyn mugging for the camera, flipping those glasses up and seeing the other glasses. Like I wanted that facial recognition of Jacoby. It was hard for a lot of people I've read to understand who that was, and like
I wasn't sure at first. I like the guy calls him Doc, and I was like, "Is really okay?"
Yeah, unless you really know his face, the glasses are all you have to go on.
Plus, they've aged 25 years. For
Mhm.
some people,
Yeah.
it's hard to know, like, oh, that's Russ Tamblyn? Really? Like, I didn't even recognize him. Like, you know, like...
Maybe all these long shots are just David Lynch's fuck you to anyone who's watching this on a phone.
Okay, I admit, I watched it on my phone.
Oh, no! You're exactly the type of person!
Here, Kate,
Okay.
let's try to make sense of this scene. You see those little dots? Those are people.
I happen to also have a really big phone, though. People make fun of it all the time,
You
so...
have a phablet?
If people call it a phablet, but I beg to differ. Yeah. I don't know, I felt like I saw everything really well, though.
Oh, that's
I don't know.
So, what's Dr. Jacoby doing with a couple of crates of shovels?
I hope we
Nothing
find
good, I'm sure.
He's going to bury the town.
Yeah, I hope we find out. It feels like a lot of these Twin Peaks shots are like we visit. Besides the sheriff department, we visit these people like once in these 2 episodes. I hope that's not all we get.
Yeah, yeah, it's concerning.
It's
I
like,
can't
feel
wait
like
till
yeah.
I can't wait till Josh tells us what plot of land that scene was filmed on.
on the next Twin Peaks fest.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones. I don't know if any of you've read the books.
Yeah.
Not the TV
Yes.
series, but the books. So,
Mhm.
because what they do is they visit certain characters throughout certain books, and then you don't see other people for like a really long time, and it gets kind of like tiring if you hate the people that they're going through. But anyways,
Yeah.
it feels like he's setting up this giant epic that will continue like a movie after movie, because that's what this series has felt to me so far, more like a movie than a TV series.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So next we go to New York. Never thought I'd go to New York in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I was worried this was a long con and not really Twin Peaks season 3, but Hotel Room season 2.
Oh no.
I'm more worried that we're gonna end up in a David Lynch cinematic universe where like we're starting to tie in Lost Highway and Inland Empire. And
Eraserhead.
I just don't want the last scene of season 3 to be the monkey from Inland Empire walking into the double R and saying Silencio.
Well, he could meet up with the monkey from Twin Peaks that says Judy.
Oh. Okay, I take it all back. I'm okay with an extended universe if the last scene is all monkeys. And then everything turns into the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I have to say though that the New York stuff was probably my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah, I
All
agree.
2 hours.
Yeah.
It was-
First, it took me a second to warm up to it, just because there was so many meandering shots and just the whole process of this guy, like sitting there staring at the box, filling up the camera memory cards and filing them away. And I'm like, we know David Lynch is a fan of doing that, like just rolling on stuff. Just
Yeah.
this whole process. But it's harder to get invested in it if there's no context. Like, we don't know who this is, why this is here. You're just showing us something for a long time, and it makes you antsy.
Plus,
It-
the show
yeah.
is called Twin Peaks.
That too.
So when you're like, oh, we're in New York now, is this going to become like a habit that we're going to be like traveling more outside of Twin Peaks?
I don't need too much New York, Buckhorn, Deer Meadow. Like, how about we go to Twin Peaks?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason that the show is called that.
I think you can get away with stuff like this if you're just doing a prologue. Like, we're going to be here for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we go on with most of the story, and then maybe we check back in later, and it all connects in some way. But to spend this much time with these unknown characters after so long is a pretty big fuck you, I think. I read an article saying that that the show was promoted in such a way that you thought you were going back with the characters that you know and love, and were going back to the town that you miss. And they were, the actors were on TV, magazine, TV Guide or Entertainment Weekly, and the covers of magazines, and that was the whole promotional campaign. And then we got something completely different, so no wonder a lot of people felt blindsided.
Yeah. All that being said, though, there's 18 episodes. There's the chance that they're backloading all that stuff for the end of the series, and it's all going to culminate there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I think that's where the book would tie in as well, because in the first half of the book, before they go back to like the Twin Peaks characters, they go through all this like history of the United States and like kind of make up a bunch of lore related to Twin Peaks, and I feel like they're setting that up, and then they'll insert the characters in that we know to kind of further solve the mystery of this supernatural stuff.
And I guess that's fine if that's how it happened, but I wonder if, for the sake of, I mean, it is a television show, so to make it more accessible, would it have been better if it was structured in a little more forgiving fashion?
I have hope because Mark Frost.
Yeah.
I like the fact, he's gonna be able to hopefully, rein in some of David Lynch's, ideas, maybe, hopefully.
It feels like, I mean, I'm having a hard time seeing Mark Frost's fingerprints on things here, but it feels like, and I think this is the case, that he may have just written all the scripts with David, handed them over and said, "See ya, I'm going to write books." And then David gets full control over, like, the visual aspects and.
That seems very likely. I'm just saying, just the fact that there was someone else, at some point touching those scripts, because I just there's parts of this, especially the non-Twin Peaks parts, that do feel very David Lynch film world.
Okay, so you just
and. I just have hope that if the fact that there was, Mark Frost touching those scripts at one point, there's enough of that DNA that's going to carry through.
Okay, so you think because of him it will lead somewhere?
I'm hoping. Like David Lynch is going to do his thing. He's going to fight. He's going to fight with it to make it what he wants. But
Too coherent.
Yeah.
Too fast. Slow it down. Make it more awkward.
I want more soap opera. Damn it.
That's what I want too. I'm glad that Brad and I are on the same page.
But that was the fun part of Twin Peaks, right? And that's what's lacking with this one is fun. There's no
fun.
Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like in a lot of the scenes, there was no music in the background. It was just ambient sounds.
That's the worst. That's the worst offender in making this feel like not Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's making it feel more like a Lynch movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all like that, like that kind of stuff. Yeah,
and it felt torpid is the word that I would use to describe it.
Yeah.
It felt like Eraserhead. There was like a droning sound in the background all the time.
Yes, definitely.
I'm really hoping that maybe once Cooper's out of the Black Lodge, that I think maybe we'll get some like real change.
I was telling Matt this, and I don't think this is very spoilery, but I scrubbed through episodes 3 and 4, just like under 30 seconds. That's like the most I just clicked forward to see if I see any locations I recognize or any characters I know. And episode 3, but episode 4, it looked brighter, livelier. I think I heard sprightly music. I was like, oh, this looks like it gets fun and funny. Like, I just have to push through episode 3, and I think I'll be back at the show that I really want to see.
Yeah, it's just
so if that gives you a glimmer of hope, I don't know.
I just don't know, like, for, like, other audience members that would be, like, trying to get invested in this show, like, I don't know if people would have the patience to wait 3 episodes.
No, he's definitely weeding out the real fans with the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
What do you mean,
like,
weeding out the real fans?
He's like, well, I mean, like, his real fans, not Twin Peaks real fans. He's like...
Well, see, that's the thing. It was a very popular show when it premiered, so... This property has like 2 audiences. It has fans of TV and fans of David Lynch.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't think that one of them has possession over this property more than the other. Mm-hmm. So you can't say if we didn't like it that we're not Twin Peaks fans, or we can't say that no one has ownership over this. Because it was multiple things in its lifetime, in its lifespan. Yeah. So all we can say is that we're disappointed that we didn't get what we wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say overall, I enjoyed this. I think much more the second part than the first. But I do think it leaned a little too heavy into David Lynch territory. And if you love David Lynch, fine. I enjoyed most of the movies we discussed. But David Lynch films are a very different world, and he has a very specific style to that world. Like Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, Inland Empire, there's a style to them that's very cold and clinical. And I think that's what's seeping into this that upsets me.
Yeah. Yeah, we need some warmth.
Yeah, we do.
This was always the most. I haven't seen a lot of his films, but this always felt like the most accessible of his work because it was on a mainstream TV network, and it had a lot of hands in it.
Yeah.
And I think if you really take those other participants away, those other writers and directors, you're gonna get just like one. This is what people wanted though. They were like, no David Lynch, no Twin Peaks. Like he's directing all the episodes, amazing. And I was like, oh, I don't know if that's a good thing. It means we're gonna possibly only get a certain kind of show.
Well, I mean,
when it was a different show.
The episodes he directed in the original 2 seasons were my favorite episodes of those seasons. But
I loved the finale, but I had problems with the premiere.
Okay. Well, it just feels like it's still, even though it's him directing this and he directed those old episodes, they still feel completely disparate to me. But
Yeah.
so the next scene after that is before that, some lady came and she was going to give the guy coffee, and then she couldn't. So after that,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, keep going. No, there's no point.
Oh, it was actually lattes though.
I wrote down that he may be conventionally handsome, but he has all the appeal of a serial murderer.
Yeah,
He does look like a serial killer.
He's very robotic.
Yeah. I kind of liked him though.
and he sounded like Crispin Glover. Again, I thought we were in Hotel Room.
Okay, so yeah, next was Ben and Jerry, who I didn't
Yay.
expect to see so soon. And again, it was all wide shots. You
dialogue
couldn't
was
see their
awkward, I
faces.
found.
There was no Twin Peaks music, so it didn't feel like Ben and Jerry.
And I'm wondering if that's why it was awkward, because there was no music behind them, so just them talking, I was like, this is so... And just him saying, like, is that the new girl? Like, I was like that was kind of...
That's Ben and Jerry, though.
It felt a little forced.
They're sleazeballs.
To me, it felt forced.
This, I think, there's also like the most well lit we've ever seen in this room.
True.
I was wondering if it is the same room, because I think it has a different layout.
Oh yeah, it very well may be, but
If it is the same room, then Ben has changed his secret door to the left of his desk to an actual door.
I was happy to see that he wasn't murdered by Dr. Hayward.
Yeah. Did you have something, Matt?
Only that I was excited to see the establishing shot of whatever that property is called, like Salish, right?
Yeah, the Great Northern.
Thinking, I've been there. I've seen that waterfall, and I've been inside there, and just that was Ashley Judd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Still gorgeous.
Yeah, she doesn't age.
What do you guys think of Jerry's new job, new profession? I think it fits.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved his look. I'm like, of course that's what he looks like now. He's a gnome.
I don't think I've ever seen banana bread that's crunchy though before.
Yeah.
Like that seems kind of weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is it like
some
a
people
thing in the
toast banana
States?
bread, I guess.
Is it a thing in the States? You guys toast your banana bread?
I mean, not specifically.
I haven't read the rule book on banana bread in a long time.
I guess if you cook it long enough, the outside will be kind of crunchy and
Yeah,
crispy.
but not that much.
You just ruined his banana
It just
bread.
sounded like toast. It's supposed to be moist.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was glad to see them, and then I was sad that I never saw them again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if Ben is good. Is he still good? Or did they retcon that? Because in the book they retcon that he never went good.
That book goes on the fire pile. I'm not acknowledging that book exists.
A throwaway scene, though, completely irrelevant to everything else in the 2-hour span.
Yeah.
So far, unless they bring it back, then yeah.
Well, but then it could have been in a different episode if it was important.
Closer.
That's what I'm talking about. Like there are bits of this 2 hours where it's like that was interesting or intriguing, but should it have been in that particular spot?
Yeah.
In the 18 episodes.
I guess he's just like. I mean, if he moved it to like later, where there's more scenes with them, then there'd be nothing from Twin Peaks in the beginning, and I guess maybe he's just like sprinkling.
Exactly, and then on a rewatch,
them.
you could skip this episode.
It does concern me that to feel like the Twin Peaks sections are like just put in there to have Twin Peaks sections. Like, I know we have to set up this story of whatever's going on. We have to set up Cooper stuff. We have to, I guess, set up this black box. I get that, like, plot-wise, I assume we need to set those things up, but we're spending a lot of time there. And just, like, shoving in these Twin Peaks scenes is definitely concerning.
Maybe all those, like, the New York stuff and the South Dakota plot lines, maybe that's what the book should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But there was still stuff I liked to see. But
Yeah.
Like the next scene, I kind of like.
Let's go to the rally school.
Yes, we're going to the rally school, aka the sheriff's office, and a guy trying to sell insurance to one of the two Sheriff Trumans is being blocked by Lucy's slow brain.
Wasn't one Sheriff Truman enough?
So, again, going by the book, the second one should be Frank Truman, his brother. So there's another tie to the book.
Yeah. Michael Huntkean's not coming back, right?
As far as we know, he was all keen to come back, and he was like, "Hey, fans, does somebody know where my coat that I used for filming is?" And nobody knew, but they found him in a duplicate and sent it to him. And he was like, "Yay, this is awesome! I can't wait." No, wait, I'm gonna retire. So we don't really know.
Thanks for the coat, dummies.
24 hours later on eBay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that Lucy plays solitaire with actual cards, not solitaire on her computer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
She's old school that way.
Well, maybe your computer fizzes in and out.
Excuse me. So yeah, then we cut to a scary drive at night. One of Lynch's staples, headlights on the road at night. And a weird song that's been slowed down.
It sounded kind of cool though.
It did. I thought it was Nine Inch Nails for a moment, but then I was like, no, it's not. It's just some other song that got slowed down. Which made it sound like
Oh, it sounded familiar, but I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says in the credits, but I forgot to write it down.
Right.
I think there was a couple of songs in the credits that were composed by David Lynch and like that band that was used in the
Chromatic?
no the Thought Gang, the band that was used in Fire Walk with Me.
Thought Gang was
I
in
think
this?
so.
Really?
I think that's what I saw in the credits, anyways.
Well, who's driving this car, guys?
Cigar Store Indian, I think.
What?
Wasn't it?
American Woman, I think, was the song.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, wasn't it Kyle MacLachlan? He looks like he's been made of wood, or he's wearing leather. I mean, he's wearing leather, but he looks like his face is also leather.
Yeah.
Leather or wood. His complexion is very strange, and
Bob spends a lot of time in the sun.
I'm pretty sure it's just Kyle MacLachlan's character from Showgirls.
I was wondering about that.
What do you guys think of his look?
I burst out laughing.
I think it's appropriate, though. I mean, like, he's Bob, and so he's got the long hair, and instead of denim, he's got this equally sleazy leather getup. I don't know what.
It's Bob, but it's not. Like, Bob's changed.
We'll expect to see that at the costume contest next year.
Oh yeah.
What did you think of the new look, Caitlin?
I don't know, it was probably like, I don't know, you couldn't have Bob just by Bob himself. There are probably elements of like Cooper's dark side in there. So I just imagined it, what if Cooper had been himself but had gone like completely AWOL.
Yeah. I am still confused whether it's Bob or just a doppelganger of Cooper, or both somehow, or what.
I was trying to work this out earlier today, because like Leland, like it was Leland possessed by Bob, but sometimes it was Leland.
Yeah.
Like now we've just got two completely separate characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different kind of manifestation.
So it's probably like when Bob takes over somebody, it's kind of like a little bit like a symbiotic relationship where like both affect the doppelganger, maybe.
Yeah.
Like both, both Cooper and Bob would like both their personalities would kind of come into it.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if there was like Leland Palmer, a version of him, stuck in the Black Lodge. We never saw that.
In the finale, there was like
Yeah.
a Leland with the scary eyes. No.
Yeah, but I can't say that the course of events were necessarily the same, though.
Yeah. It's also confusing because, just going back to what we know previously, it's like Bob wanted to possess Laura.
Yeah.
So seemingly, Leland got possessed by Bob, and then Bob wanted to transfer to Laura. Laura fights it off, gets killed. Then Bob is still in Leland, but then Cooper gets trapped in the Black Lodge and his doppelganger gets out. But we also know that Bob was possessing Cooper, so I don't know. I can't do the math, guys. It seems like it should be two separate things, but it's not.
But remember, like, when Bob was kind of flying around as an owl? Like, I feel like he was looking he was looking for a body to possess because all he had was the owl.
He can possess owls, no problem.
So did Bob possess the doppelganger?
That's what I'm wondering.
Thinking so.
So maybe the doppelganger's an okay guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Bob's not in him, he's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like no, though. I feel like now that it's been 25 years, like I feel like he's like just ingrained. It's like there's no separation.
That's why he looks like he's made of wood.
I'm just picturing the Bob doppelganger combo there, like punching that guard twice, knocking him out. Then he goes back out to his car and he cries because he's possessed by Bob.
Well, they said that Cooper can't leave the Black Lodge until the doppelganger comes back, but why would the doppelganger ever go back? Unless the doppelganger is a good guy who just wanted to have some fun, but he can't go back because he's possessed by Bob.
I think doppelganger I think he's also set up a doppelganger FBI that's all Herta Hatta, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Because like this crew, this Herta Hatta, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre house
That's kind of
upsets me.
What it is, yeah. Texas Chainsaw House, yeah.
Like, yeah.
But Beulah, the girl who he talks to, calls it a world of truckers. So they're all truckers, apparently.
Maybe he's trying to change his industry, because I was just reading an article in the New York Times yesterday how if you adjust for inflation, truckers now make less than they did in 1980. So, maybe he's just trying to bring truckers back to the glory days. And
yeah, and this is what happens to them.
It's actually like his benevolent ways. He's just trying to help.
He's making truckers great again.
My third note is we're counting logging trucks this go round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 0. But of course we weren't in Twin Peaks for most of the episode, so that's why I didn't see any.
Yeah.
And there are still logging trucks around Snoqualmie.
They had one.
We saw them.
Yeah, they had one at the premiere of this in Hollywood.
So keep your eyes peeled.
But I did love that slap when he slapped that guy.
Yeah.
Approached. Oh my god, that was so extremely violent.
Well, yeah, he punched him on the way in, and then the guy came after him again, and he
backhanded him.
No, he didn't backhand him. He backhanded the butt of the gun as it was coming down towards him, and that made the barrel of the gun angle and hit the guy in the head. And it was all so seamless and in one move that it looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question, what is Mr. Mustache guy, the jar next to him, what is in that jar?
The thing is drinking?
Urine?
Yeah. It looks like pee. It looks like he's got a thing for pee.
I think they're fingerling potatoes.
I thought they might be fingers, I'm not sure.
Anyways, Bob Booper came to get Ray and Daria from this lady Beulah, because he needs them for a job of some kind, I guess.
At first I thought it was Amanda Seyfried, but now I think it's Clint Eastwood's daughter.
Oh, really?
That was it. Okay. So then we go back to New York, and Tracy, the girl with the coffee, or latte, is back, and the guard is gone, and this time she gets in.
Where do you think the guard went?
I have no idea.
I was thinking the girl was like a double agent, and she took him out.
That's what I assumed. Maybe she was like because she really wanted in there for some reason.
She works for a rival billionaire, anonymous billionaire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who do you guys think the anonymous billionaire is?
Yeah,
if it was like a former Twin Peaks character, who would the anonymous billionaire be?
Bobby Briggs.
Bobby Briggs.
Yeah, one of those.
I thought maybe it might be Ben Horn, but I don't know.
Doesn't look like it.
No, I don't.
I don't think he makes billions.
But
I just want Bobby to be rich.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, or Tokumura, yeah.
Yeah,
I wondered that.
What if it is Booper?
Booper's
He's funding, like...
he's a billionaire.
We were talking about this, where we thought maybe, like... Well, we'll save our theories for the box, I guess. Or should we talk about them now?
Well, we are at the scene with the box.
Yeah. We were wondering if it was some sort of filtration device for the Black Lodge.
That's what it seems to be.
Like a coffee
Nice.
filter.
It seems to be catching things that are traveling between dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a camera, but
What, the box? Was
the box was some sort of camera, because it seemed like when there was the scene, I don't know, can't remember when it was during the 2 hour span, but it was like the frame was like going like in and out of it.
Yeah.
When Cooper
It made
was
me
trapped in
think.
there?
Okay, it made me think of like it was like a shutter almost
Yeah.
of a camera.
It's the shape of it, because it's got like that bit that extends to the window is kind of camera shaped as well.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
But, I mean, if it's capturing things, like, as a camera, it could be capturing things that are coming from the Black Lodge as well, and just, like, putting them back where they belong. Except for that creature that we see next.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of that creature? I thought that was very effectively scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the best. Personally, I found it the best part of the episode.
Yeah.
I really liked it, though. I wish, like, we had seen an owl in there. Like, I think, like, instead of seeing that creature, maybe we just see, I don't know, just like a bit of an owl in there, just something to, like, take us back to Twin Peaks for a second.
To tie it in.
The creature rotates 360, there's an owl on its back,
Yeah.
hitchhiking.
Or just, like, an owl face in that mask somewhere. I feel like, it was right there. They could have done it.
So the body of this thing was, like, female, and the head looked like the Eraserhead baby's head to me.
Yeah.
Except
Kinda.
without eyes and nose and a nose. But, like, it had a potato-shaped head, and it had the same oval mouth that the Eraserhead baby has.
Yeah.
So maybe Brad's right. Maybe this is a shared
Oh,
universe. It's the Lynchverse.
I don't know. It kind of looked like a gray to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
same.
I think
Yeah,
it was
maybe.
supposed to. I don't think it's actually a gray, but I think it's supposed to evoke the thought of a gray, because this is probably the exact thing that they described as a gray in the Secret History of Twin Peaks. I bet they're looking at one of these when.
Yeah.
Just like Matt would confuse Twin Peaks with Cape Fear, I would confuse Firewalk with Me with Fire in the Sky.
Ugh. Both creepy movies.
So yeah, this thing, once they start having sex, that's when it appears. I'm not sure if that's the cause of it.
I told Matt, I was like, fear and love, open the gates, Matt.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing right there, you know? I feel.
Were they feeling fear or love?
Well,
Mel?
yeah, it's like, when you're having sex, it's thrilling, so it's kind of scary, you know, because it's like, you don't, it's like the first time they're doing it. Then
Yeah.
they're like,
I mean,
we're
why-
loving it too, so I don't know.
Why else employ a college student to watch the box? I mean, they could have gotten some professional scientist. So
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody with no libido.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, is the intention to capture the thing? Obviously, it gets out.
Yeah.
So
But he mentions he's been hired to watch this box, and things are supposed to appear. And the last guy who had the job, he saw something, but he didn't die. So maybe it's not just this thing that appears. Maybe other things have appeared. Well, we know later that Cooper appears as well.
Or earlier, Cooper
I
appears.
don't. I feel like you
Yeah.
hire somebody to do a job, you got to give them more information. Otherwise, they're not going to do the job correctly.
I
Well, I
think
think
that
that's-
person is just part of the experiment, but the rest of it is the actual, like, just documentation of events, but that person's just another variable to throw in.
Oh, just setting up to fail, basically. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens if we put
Yeah.
this. Okay, so he's part of the test. He doesn't know
I think
it.
he's bait.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Then we go to Buckhorn, South Dakota. And this is when I really started feeling antsy about how much time we're spending away from Twin Peaks on my first
Yeah.
watch.
This concerns me, but also I think it's one of the more interesting things happening. Because at least there's soap opera elements.
Yeah, I came around to it, but yeah.
Buckhorn. Why are we in Buckhorn?
It's very Fargo, either way.
I think Chet Desmond in the beginning of Fire Walk with Me was in one of the Dakotas.
Was he?
When that school bus.
Yeah, the school bus with
yeah.
the hookers and
Can't
stuff.
remember if it was north or south. but
Yeah.
Are we getting a Chet Desmond in the series? Do we know?
I don't think he's on the cast list, so
Oh.
it would be a surprise if he was.
It's literally the only actor working that's not on the cast list.
But I mean, the cast list was supposed to be extensive, like it's supposed to be everybody, I think. But the lady who plays Beulah, I don't believe she was on the cast list, and she had a speaking part. So,
Wow.
so
I love Jane Addams
Who's that?
as an actress.
Is that this
That's
lady with the dog?
No. It's she's on the police force.
Oh, okay.
She's taking the notes.
Constance.
Yeah.
I know her best. She plays Mel from Frasier, Niles' like girlfriend, who's like shrill and awful.
That's what your mom was saying,
right.
because your mom's a big Frasier fan.
And I remember her as the mother of the dead baby from the pilot of Carnival.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Ben takes the baby from her, and she's been holding it since the baby died. Those are the two things I remember from. She's been in a ton of stuff. I've always liked her as an actress.
Mm-hmm. So this lady smells something in her neighbor's apartment, and then she calls the cops. She forgets her own address. She forgets who has the keys. She has the keys. There's all these names thrown around. There's the manager Barney, and Hank the maintenance guy, and Chip is Barney's brother, and Hank is talking to somebody else on the phone. And I better not be remembering all these names for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, are we ever going to hear from these people again?
I mean, that all depends on how much time we spend in Buckhorn.
We do spend more time in Buckhorn, but then it just shifts to Bill Hastings and the cops.
The way that the cops felt dealing with that woman is the way I felt watching this, which is jerked around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you think this went on a little bit too long?
I did.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
just like everything else, though, in this episode, I feel.
At least it was coherent. Like, I could follow what was happening, and most, except for the part about the keys and going to talk to the janitor's brother or manager's brother. I mean, all of that was just a waste of time. Like that. I mean, that's like 5 minutes of the episode you can take out. You don't need that. I like that goofy, like, David Lynch scene right there. I was like, you know what? I would be so much more okay with this scene if it was taking place in a town called Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that would make all the difference. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I mean, we've got 18 hours to like, you know, get to Twin Peaks. But yeah, I just felt the clock ticking, and I'm like, we've been in New York watching a box for a while. We haven't spent that much time in Twin Peaks, and this is when I was really starting to feel it. And but I did enjoy this, but I do think it was a little long.
Yeah.
So they do get the door open eventually, and they find a lady with her eye blown out. And then later they come and uncover the body, and we find out that it's a severed head
With a horrible CG body.
of a woman on top of a horrible CG man's body.
That is another thing I'm disappointed about in this
The
show,
effects?
is the special effects.
It's got to be intentional. They're like
It's just, they're so bad.
they're like
though.
Birdemic bad.
They are!
I think it's David Lynch's choice to make them look like that. Cheap video effects. They could have done better. I'm sure they could have.
Why would you choose
He likes
to
the
make
look of
something
it. It just makes it look weirder, I guess. I don't know.
But it takes me right out of it, I feel. But, you know.
Then we get a heartbreaking scene with the log lady talking to Hawk.
Yeah.
She has a message from the log. And I believe she only had a few more weeks left to live after she filmed her scenes. So yeah, this is the actress in the state she was actually in. It felt like it was kind of a struggle for her to get her lines out, and I'm not sure if it was the direction for her to seem like she was on the verge of tears, but she was on the verge of tears, and yeah, it was just.
We're just so lucky to have the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a shame they couldn't swing it with David Bowie as well, but
Yeah.
But these Margaret scenes feel special. I like how Hawk always calls her Margaret. He never calls her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because he's a classy dude.
He's running the sheriff's station while the two sheriffs are gone.
Why is he not the sheriff?
Seriously.
Because
He's not in it for the glory. He's not in it for the glory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mel's right. He said that before. He hates paper.
Yeah. I was so happy to see Hawk. Like, it was like, yes, I'm in. I don't care. I'm in.
I was happy that Hawk is getting a message and a task from the log lady, and it seems like he's going to have a significant role to play finally.
Because that log knows what's up.
Yep. It knows who to talk to, who's important.
I wish the
Now we
log
know where
had
the-
directed these
Yeah.
episodes.
That'd be good. Now we know where the donuts come from too.
What, Hawk gets them, you mean?
Yeah, Hawk gets them.
It used to be Lucy, but maybe,
Yeah, I know,
maybe it's
but-
Hawk now. Maybe
Yeah.
he took over her duties. He's a deputy chief now. He's not just a deputy, so he also gets to get donuts. I don't think he was a deputy chief in the last series. Just a deputy.
So yeah.
So yeah, he has to find something. Something's missing, and it has to do with his heritage. So I don't know if that means the Black Lodge. I don't think the Black Lodge is specific to his heritage, but I guess maybe his people knew about it before other people. But
Maybe the log's racist.
maybe
I'm betting my money on that.
the log was her husband, so we don't know what her husband was like in life. Could be a raging racist. So then we go back to South Dakota, and Constance finds fingerprints from the high school principal, Bill Hastings, all over the room of the murder victim, which was Ruth something. So then they go to arrest Bill, and his wife Hillary Clinton, Phyllis, answers the door. She had Hillary hair.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill is played by Matthew Lillard from Scream and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
God, it makes me feel old to see him looking old.
Seriously.
He got
He's in
old
tons
really
of stuff
quick.
still though. Yeah.
It seems like he got old in over the span of 5 years though.
Yeah. Snuck up on him real quick.
Yeah. I gotta say, he did a really good job in this series.
I've been seeing a lot of acclaim for him, and I fully support it. He was really good. The actress who plays his wife, less good.
Yeah.
Well, she can go wander around the woods now.
We cut back, and Hawk is he's getting all the coop files, and because log lady said what he's missing had something to do with Agent Cooper. And then Lucy and Andy come in. So first look at Andy, and is he wearing a fat suit?
I think so. He's gotta be.
It looked like
a
pillow.
Are his clothes just ill-fitting?
I don't know.
No, it looks like they literally took like a pillow on a bed somewhere and stuffed it in his.
It looks that way, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
I don't think that's his body type. If it is,
No.
I apologize for pointing it out.
Pear-shaped. Yeah.
Pear-shaped,
It's
yeah.
the way his
looks
shirt is like poofed that it looks like it's stuffed with something.
So fake looking. It's ridiculous.
It looks like he was gonna burst open. Yeah.
So is this because they decided to put like an Andy weight loss story arc into the season? And
Please.
And Hawk is bringing all the donuts because Andy just can't. He can't. He's trying not to eat donuts.
I want to see an
torturing him.
Andy workout montage.
And Lucy being like the support, but like not really. Yeah.
They mention their son Wally, who was born on the same day as Marlon Brando. I'm sure. Well, I guess maybe you guys don't know the cast list, but I've always assumed that their son would be played by Michael Cera as soon as I saw that he was on the cast list.
Oh.
Oh, okay. That's yes.
Has to be him.
Oh, okay.
What else could Michael Cera play in this?
I thought he was going to be Bob.
I think he can play both equally as well.
Just put some denim on him, a long stringy wig. Bob.
Yep. Then we cut back to South Dakota, and we got Don Harrison. I can't tell what I wrote there. From the state police, he's come to observe the interrogation of Bill Hastings. And Dave, the detective interviewing Bill, has known him since high school.
Now, I will say that this actor, you've seen him on Deadwood. He played the prosecutor in the trial of Jack McCall.
Oh.
Way back in season 1.
Yeah,
So.
I can't remember that far back. I've only seen it once. So Bill says he knows of Ruth. He doesn't, he's never been to her place. Interrogation starts okay, but then he kind of breaks apart when there's like some unaccounted for time between a school meeting and his getting home. And I couldn't tell if he doesn't know where he was, or if he just like was surprised that he said such an obvious lie.
It was really hard to figure him out at first.
Yeah.
This is also when he mentions he was because he's trying to explain where he was, and he talks about his assistant that he gave his assistant a ride home. So,
yeah. And that's the same assistant that they're looking for info from.
Right.
Ray and Daria, which we don't know what that info is, I guess. But yeah, this is all a big web that's being weaved, and we don't know what it's all about yet. But that's a bad lie to make up. If that is a lie, if he's like, I remember, I drove my assistant home, just assuming that she's gonna corroborate your story. So he's put in a cell, and then they get a warrant to search his house, and they find flesh of some kind in his car trunk. And there's a broken flashlight because David Lynch must get some sort of strobe in.
Yeah.
What if it's not broken? What if it's just like he put it on the flash setting and he doesn't know how to change it?
Amazing.
Because he's an old man. Any thoughts on any of those scenes?
Again, Matthew Lillard, really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just breaking apart and under questioning. It's really good.
Yep. All right, and then we get the credits over that black and white room with the giant and the gramophone phone from the opening.
Something that I want to say is why the cop questioning the principal.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he say, "Is there anything else you want to tell me?" If he's like asking for his lawyer.
Yeah, you got to ask that just in case
I know,
they
but
get
is there
stupid
anything
and say
like?
something.
Why would he say something? He wants his lawyer there. Obviously, he's not.
Yeah,
gonna
but some
say
people.
anything.
So it's worth a try. Some people might be stupid and say something.
Yeah, I suppose, but still, I was like, well, if he's really stupid, like,
Yeah.
I don't think he should be a principal if he's really that stupid.
Yeah. He wisely declined, didn't he?
Yeah.
He just wanted to know what was it about. So do you guys want to rate this episode? Do you have separate ratings?
Okay, so you saw the hard stop between the two episodes at this point, and I kind of figured that seeing the piece of flesh in the car was the end point, but in my viewing, it just ran into the next scene. So
okay, so that's what they saw at the premiere of the show as well in the theater. It just ran as a movie, basically.
So is that?
But this was the break in between episodes on television.
that's what I figured, that opening the car and looking at that was the stopping point.
I was just wondering is that how we should do it, as one piece that we rate, or?
Well, I wrote separate ratings, but if you guys didn't, I don't need to.
I mean, they were billed as episodes 1 and 2, so
we can do it.
All right. So my first watch through, I was really thrown off because it wasn't what I was expecting. I went in with my expectations of one thing, and it subverted them and gave me something else. So I was really very sour at first. And then on the second watch, after I'd seen the second episode, and I went back to this first one, and I realized what we have, I tried to judge it on its own. So I liked it better, definitely. I bumped it up 1.5 points, I think. So I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 box monsters that hate watching sex. It's just, there's not enough Twin Peaks, there's not enough music from Twin Peaks. The long shots and the meandering camera, just watching things, it's hard to get invested when you don't have any context for what you're watching yet. So, yeah, it's just a little bit hard to get into, but I do enjoy some of it. Anybody else can go. Do you have a rating?
Caitlin.
Oh, Caitlin.
Oh, you nominate me. Okay.
Like,
Nice.
We haven't heard from you in a while.
I accept the nomination. Well, okay, like you, Matt, I thought it was completely not what I expected, but that delighted me. I was like, what the hell is going on? And I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it definitely goes all over the place. But I don't know, I kind of have faith that we'll tie back into the characters well enough and that they're just trying to paint a bigger pictures. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the lynchisms. And yeah, I'd give it a starter 7 out of 10 fishing Trumans.
Cool.
Yeah.
Brad, do you have a rating?
All right. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely vacillated a lot while watching the episode. And when I did watch it, I gave myself about a 10-minute delay from the Showtime live feed. So I watched the episode separately, and I took a little break in between there. And like I was not feeling this for a while. But then we got the crazy thing in the box, and we got Hawk, and then we start to get that the mystery going on with the principal, and I'm like, all right, I don't know what this show is yet. I don't know that it's necessarily Twin Peaks, but I do enjoy it. And we've still got 17 more episodes to like dig in. So I think as far as a start goes, I'll go 6.5 out of 10 Creep Town Shacks.
What about you, Mel? You were making all sorts of faces and noises when we were watching, so I'm interested to know what you
the
think.
first time we watched it, I fell asleep.
You made it all the way through this episode.
This one, yeah, but I was exhausted.
You fell asleep in the second
Yeah,
one.
it just exhausted me. Yeah, I couldn't believe my eyes when I watched it. I was like, what is this? Like, what are you doing to me, David Lynch? Why? But I'm gonna keep giving it a chance. But I didn't really love it, but I didn't hate it either. It's just like the special effects really bothered me. Like I feel like David Lynch, you could do better. You could do actual practical effects. Like I feel like that's something that he's known for, is good practical effects. Like I feel like he could have hired somebody to do that instead of doing shitty CG, dead bodies and stuff like that. But anyways, some of the scenes were enjoyable, though. I did enjoy seeing the Twin Peaks characters, even though I felt those scenes were awkward. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna give it a 7. No, not 7. Sorry, 5. I'm gonna lower that rating. 5 out of 10. Keys in your goddamn hands. They're in your hands.
Matt, did you come up with a rating?
Come up with a rating? No, I'll have to fumble and do it on the spot. I struggled with this. There were a couple of really standout scenes, like the couple having sex and then the thing comes out of the box and kills them. That was scary, and it provoked an emotional response for me, which was unease and terror. But a lot of the rest of it, I kept wanting to connect in an emotional way to anything that was happening, and it just wasn't happening. Except for, like I see Lucy and I get waves of good feelings, but that's what I'm projecting onto it. Like the same thing with Margaret. It's sad because I know she died and she's dying and I'm watching her die, and that's what I'm bringing to it. But taken, if that wasn't the case, it would have felt awkward and shoehorned in. A lot of the scenes in Twin Peaks, even though they were my favorite because they were in Twin Peaks with characters I know and love, it felt out of place in this episode, and I kept waiting for them to move it along, pick up the pace. But this is David Lynch's style. It's just to kind of meander and be aimless and focus on stuff that I wish was paced faster and with more clarity, and I don't get it. And all right, well, it's not for me. That's okay. So I'm gonna go 5.5 out of 10. Oh boy, see, this is where I should have prepared. 5.5 out of 10. Andy stuffed with pillows.
That was a great one.
See, it was worth it. It was worth the fumbling.
Yes, it was. All right, we're zooming straight into episode 2 because Caitlin's got 20 minutes left.
Oh god.
So, Bill meets with his wife in the jail, and it's they both reveal that they know about each other's mutual affairs.
That was delightful.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they turn on each other savagely.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It was good.
I mean, I don't know these characters, so I don't know if this is their true nature, but it almost felt like they changed personas. It felt like I felt like either one of them could be possessed, or both of them, with some kind of lodge spirit.
I think they both are.
I think they're both just kind of jerks and self-centered assholes who just had a facade on the whole time.
Maybe.
Until, like, they knew that there was a chink in it, and the other one knew. Yeah.
Like, I feel like this woman is our Catherine.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't Matthew Lillard's character talk about missing time? Like, he just doesn't know.
Yeah.
So he's obviously the Ray Wise character. You know, he was taken by something. And then I think later, you know, she's confronted by Cigar Store Indian Cooper, who sort of implies that she's possessed as well and shoots her. Yeah. So my feeling was that these were two spirits who had a hostile relationship and inhabited this married couple, and would just sort of use them as to play out their own dramas.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
And the humans were, you know, victims of that.
Yeah. But it could also, that line could also be read as, like, he's just, like, Cooper's basically just commenting on how she's human and she acted so human. Like, oh, you humans, you play your parts so well, you know, you do exactly what I expect you to do. Like,
that's why I feel like Evil Cooper set up an evil FBI, and he's just setting up evil schemes to ruin people's lives for no reason.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was possessed and she was possessed because in the jail cell, when we pan over and we get that guy who's straight out of Mulholland Drive's Behind Winky's scene, I was like, is that the spirit that was possessing him, and now it's off? And now it's flying away?
I did not need that scene.
You mean you didn't like it, or it was scary?
No, I did not like it, because I'm like, it's like, up until this point, I'm like, alright, this is kind of weird, but this feels more like David Lynch movie world than Twin Peaks. But when we see, like, a little face float away into the sky, I'm like, oh, we're deep in it now. We're nowhere near Twin Peaks.
That's kind of how I felt.
We took a left at Inland Empire, and we're heading straight in.
Yeah.
Just like when I saw the guy though, I was like, okay, that's suitably creepy. But then just as soon as his head started disembodying, I was like, no.
I think if his head didn't float off, it would have been better. If he just disappeared, with the head floating away.
It was just like taking it a step too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love almost cartoony.
Yeah.
I would love to think that, like, this principal and his wife, I would like to think neither one of them is possessed by something evil, but they're just being, like, mind fucked. Like maybe, like, I want to think Cooper's somehow involved. That, like, maybe the way, like, Leland was, like, drugging his wife, like, maybe he's, like, doing something to get these people suspicious of each other and just ruining them from the inside.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to know his game.
The affairs, though, felt very Twin Peaksy to me. Like, just the fact that they were like, oh yeah, I know you're having an affair. I was like, yes, Twin Peaks!
Well,
yes.
Yeah. Well, he made it clear that his intention was to frame George. He's like, this is George's gun, and then he shoots her. So maybe he's just like, his deal is he frames people to get away with the things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
What if this whole series is just like evil snakeskin shirt Coop, like just like going around the country setting people up for crimes?
Casey.
But he shoots her in the eye exactly as Ruth Davenport from the apartment building.
Yeah.
That same wound.
Yeah. Do you think that sharpshooting comes from Coop?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
That time when he shot the little paper man, and it was like 2 in the eyes, 2 in the nostrils.
So maybe he's got control over people's minds too, like over those. If that guy is possessed, like he's probably got control over like making him forget where he was the night before.
He's like possessing them on the side.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's not separate entities at all. It's all him.
Yeah, maybe. He does seem to be really powerful. Just the way he like fucking takes care of business.
Yeah.
Just the way he punches people, and you know what I mean, like.
So maybe the husband can use this as kind of like an excuse, or like, I'm being framed. Obviously, someone killed my wife when I was in jail.
Yeah.
Someone's setting me up and doing this to my family.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a bit like
It's just a thought.
The mill plot. In that, I have no idea what's happening. But,
But yeah.
well, go ahead.
I'm just because whatever this information that Evil Coop is after, it's going to a lot of effort to do a lot of setup.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is seemingly pretty important.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Next, there's a scene where Ray, Jack, Daria, Jack is a new guy that we hadn't seen before, and Evil Coop are eating. Coop is worried about the day after tomorrow, or they say that they hear he's worried about it.
The film.
I'm worried that somebody's just going to spring that film on me.
I don't want to have to watch it. No. No CGI wolves, no.
And they go on about his wants versus his needs.
Mm-hmm.
Which Cooper kind of did in the original series when he was talking to Audrey when she was naked in his bed.
Yeah.
But he insists he doesn't need anything. He only wants things. And he wants some info from Hastings' secretary, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Then, the most Twin Peaks thing to happen yet happens. We get Hawk in the woods with Twin Peaks music from the finale with a flashlight.
Yes.
And then he gets a call from the log lady again. And apparently something's supposed to be happening at the what do you call it?
Glastonbury Grove.
Glastonbury Grove. Yeah. I shouldn't have abbreviated in my notes. I should have just I confused myself. I was like GRG. Oh no, GBG, sorry. That's why I was confused. I didn't finish my B and it looked like an R. So yeah, Hawk's like, something's supposed to be happening here, but we never see it.
Yeah.
I was so convinced that Coop was just going to pop out in front of Hawk.
I was waiting for Hawk just to reach in and grab him and snatch him out.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But yeah, this is another sweet scene with Margaret and Hawk, and they talk like old friends. She invites him for pie and coffee after his little walk in the woods.
A lot of my notes are, I bet the viewing parties love that.
Yeah.
I mentioned coffee.
Yeah.
They cheered. There's Lucy. They cheered. She said, sometimes my arms bend back. They cheered.
Probably. But this is one of the only instances of music, and like Angelo's got a big credit, and music by Angelo Badalamenti. But anytime they've had music,
Angelo, like you know him.
Sorry.
My old buddy Ange.
Anytime they use Angie's music, there's like they're just reusing old stuff, from what I can tell.
I call him Ange.
They barely even use that. Oh, you know him a little bit better than me.
I recently learned about a genre of music, though, that is basically just, like, silence except for, like, some random, like, ambient noises. So maybe he's just delved into this new genre of music.
Oh, all these ambient sounds are definitely David Lynch.
I know.
That's the credit, sound design by David Lynch.
Yeah. I definitely noticed that.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just holding to this dream and hope I have that when Coop gets out of the Black Lodge, all of a sudden we're gonna be in real Twin Peaks mode. We're gonna have music. It's gonna be light and fun again.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is all. I'm hoping that they're setting up a contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if, because of the schedule of, hey, we're gonna put these in 2 block chunks, the network said, we have to do this because of the way you structured this. If we stretch this out over 4 weeks, we will bleed our audience. So people will unsubscribe because they'll subscribe for a month. So we got to put these all up front so that we can get to the stuff that people will enjoy more. And I'm wondering if that's why they did it.
Maybe.
Why they're burning through it so quickly.
Maybe,
I mean,
yeah.
Honestly, like, once we do get, like, Cooper, like, out of the Black Lodge, like, they're because they need the contrast, obviously, between, like, evil snakeskin shirt guy and actual Agent Cooper. And Cooper's whole thing is he's such a light, like, positive, like, childlike character. Like, they can't make him morose and upset. Like, they're gonna need to have him be actual Cooper, or this isn't gonna work. So I feel like there's gotta be some big, like, change coming. At least I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I accidentally skipped over the scene in Las Vegas another new setting.
Too bad.
Which, that one weirdly opened with some, like, really snappy Twin Peaks music from the old series, just for a second, though. And then, I didn't catch this character's name, Mr. Todd, I wrote, but I wasn't sure. But it's the guy from the Mulholland Drive scene where he
sees the character behind Winkies and he freaks out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy. And he's giving something to someone else, something about working with a dangerous man, which I assume is Evil Coop. And I didn't quite get what was going on in that scene.
Or is he working with evil Philip Jeffries? Or evil all the other FBI? I just want there to be an evil FBI, guys.
Or unanimous billionaire.
Yes.
So then we go to the Red Room, and Coop is with the one-armed man. And we get the line, is it future or is it past? Which I can't remember if that's in the movie or only in the missing pieces from the movie. I can't remember. But the little man says it. And I was just like, well, obviously it's not past because look at me. Look how old I am.
Doesn't the giant also say it in the black and white scene at the very beginning?
Does he? I can't remember.
I think he does. So that black and white scene may even be it may be in the future.
Oh yeah, maybe. So then Laura Palmer shows up. What'd you guys think of this whole thing?
Well, it reignited my interest in it a little bit.
Yeah.
They kind of retreaded some ground, added some new things.
Yeah.
What I found about this was that even if he's an asshole, Michael J. Anderson's expertise was needed here.
Yeah.
His backwards speaking skills, whoever's doing that job now is not doing a good job of it. Because, the words are all jumbled. They're not enunciated.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Yeah.
But, that's not the worst thing in the scene.
What's the worst thing in the scene?
Oh, when Laura Palmer takes her face off and shoots lights out.
What'd you take that to mean? Because that's after he asks her if she's dead, and she says she is dead. And then she takes her face off, and there's light underneath, which maybe that just means that, like, sure, she's dead, but, look, I'm filled with, like,
maybe I'm making a cameo.
Spirit.
I'm making a cameo from the White Lodge.
Yeah, I'm like, filled with a strong energy that'll never die. Or, like, I have a strong spirit.
Stark on Farscape did the same thing when he took his mask off. He was glowing energy inside, and it just made me, bring Farscape back. That's what I thought when I watched that. It just made me like, I wish I was watching a Farscape reboot, not
Farscape
this.
The Return. Oh.
I didn't know why we particularly needed the scene either, because it was just exactly the same, except much slower.
It was so he could be told that he's allowed to leave now.
I know, but they could have just said, hey, you can go.
It wouldn't be the Red Room without
I suppose.
some of this.
But
just this is the payoff to the I'll be seeing you in 25 years. But because we haven't been watching the show, that doesn't really mean that much because it's just the pacing and like this series. It's not like I felt no anticipation from Cooper that he's been waiting to get out or he's been waiting for something to happen in the Black Lodge, so that because I'm just connecting now. It's like I'll be seeing you in 25 years. This is that happening.
Yeah.
And that didn't really have any meaning to me until I just put that together.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I doubt he's seen her before this.
Oh yeah.
And she whispers to him again. Last time she whispered, "My father killed me." I wonder what she whispers this time.
Yeah.
And then she screams.
She gives him advice on going back into the real world.
What'd she say?
She's giving him advice.
Oh,
on
that's
going
what
back
the
into
whisper
real
is?
world.
There's these things called cell phones.
Exactly. Don't get a T-Mobile plan. You're never going to have reception anywhere. You just stick with Verizon. Yeah, it's a little more expensive, but at least it works.
Then she screams and she flies away to her home planet, Poochie style from The Simpsons.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
The effect
so bad.
left
So
much
bad.
space to be desired, but
Yeah, I did not need that.
Besides the effect, what do we think's happening there? Like, she's like is ripped up into the sky in the Red Room.
Sucked back to the White Lodge.
I don't know, but she seemed terrified. Like, I thought Laura Palmer's torture was over. Like, at the end of Fire Walk with Me, she seemed content and happy.
Listen,
Ew, not fair. She's been through enough.
Palmer women are good at doing one thing: screaming.
But then later on, Leland asks Cooper to find Laura, so maybe that's her leaving the Black Lodge. Maybe she's out in the real world somewhere now, despite dying. So I don't know how that would work. But
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe he's gonna have to come back in the Black Lodge later and find her again.
Or maybe time's all, because time's all screwy in the Black Lodge. That's like a Leland asking from before.
Oh yeah, just a.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, there's no linear time correlation here.
Mm-hmm.
Does Caitlin need to go soon? Because could you give your thoughts, Caitlin, to for the rest of the? I don't know when you have to leave.
Yeah, if you gotta leave, just you can go through the rest of your notes real quick if you have any, and give us your overall thoughts and ratings in episode 2.
Okay. Well, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd say. Except for
you really enjoyed it.
No, like really, as in I'm kind of surprised, but really did enjoy it. That whole Cooper wandering through the Black Lodge, like walking back through rooms, was kind of like annoying, super slow. Whenever they're doing those like backward talk scene stuff, I'm always just like watching every minute detail, being like, oh, are they filming forward? Are they filming backwards? Instead of like actually being engaged in the show. Yeah. But I really enjoyed that arm. That was trippy, like the pulsing tree with like the heart on top.
Again, it looks like an Eraserhead baby's head.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
did.
The potato with the mouth.
And then the evil version of it too. Oh man,
Love it.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I in my notes I called it the electric exposition tree.
Yeah.
Because it gives some of like the most straightforward stuff.
Well, it's
Did
Michael J.
anyone-
Anderson's replacement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did anyone special voice the tree?
I'm not sure who voiced it.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, I hope that they get Cooper out of the Black Lodge soon. Like, sometime in the next episode. Yeah.
Rating?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say my rating is about the same as the last one, really. I just kind of felt it was going same lines and stuff, and some crazy, wacky stuff, like the tree, and then just, yeah. So again, I'll just give it 7 out of 10 nightmare trees, and yeah.
Well, thanks for being on, and this won't take so long next time. Oh, actually it will, because there'll be another 2 episodes, but after that, it won't take so long.
Yeah, hopefully I won't be as busy, so yeah.
Okay. You and your sports.
I know, I'm so active.
Enjoy your sporting.
I also do other important things too, like I tutor mathematics and volunteer for a film festival, so that's
We
why
have
I'm busy.
nothing in common, Caitlin.
Stop being an
No.
outstanding citizen.
Sports and math? That's
Yeah.
hard pass.
Okay.
Alrighty, have fun.
Alright, see you later. Bye.
Alright.
Bye.
Okay, did you guys have any thoughts on the exposition tree?
I hate
Electric exposition.
Electric tree. I call them electric tree. I don't.
I love it. I love it so much.
So why do you like it, and why do I hate it?
Well, I love it because it's like, oh, I'm the arm. Oh, okay, you're the new arm. First of all, you're replacing Michael J. Anderson.
Yeah.
Like, you're the same character, and I love that.
Which, this wouldn't make any sense if you hadn't seen the movie. Like, I know a lot of people probably still didn't watch the movie before they watched this. They just got into season 1 and 2. The whole arm thing is introduced in the movie.
This is like this is kooky David Lynch, which I always enjoy, much more than like plotting David Lynch. Like, it's creepy and it's weird, and I'm like, oh, it's a tree with a heart on it, aka an arm, aka whatever. I don't know, but it also has a doppelganger, which is
Yes.
like, I love that. Like, we're never gonna have any understanding of what the fuck's going on in this Black Lodge, and I kind of love that. And like, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm in. I'm completely in at this point.
Yeah. I do like how it was an electrified tree because in the film they established that the Black Lodge beings are like in some way connected with electricity. So it's just literally a tree that's like it looks like if you touched it you'd get a shock.
And it's also delivering all the exposition about, like, all right, he's going to have to come back. You're going to get to go out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, thank you, tree. I needed you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a character in the Black Lodge that has been as clear as this tree.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, there's no cryptic messages. It's just, like, I'm telling you straight out, this is what the deal is.
Again, the thing that's been the clearest in the Black Lodge is a tree with a heart on it that's actually an arm.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, I hated it, but I can't really articulate why. I think I would have liked the tree more without the beating thing on the top of it.
Yeah.
Because then it just would have been a tree. This was too weird. It was too weird for me.
I have a hard time with, like, exposition. Like, I feel like it makes me uncomfortable when it's too obvious that it is exposition. Like,
hey, do you remember your doppelganger flashback?
I don't know what it takes me right out because it doesn't feel like it's seamlessly blended into the dialogue. It just feels, like, forced. Mm-hmm. So I don't enjoy that kind of stuff.
I'm just so thankful for exposition in something David Lynch is making currently.
Yeah, in that aspect, I can agree with that. But it still makes me feel really uncomfortable. I don't know why. Yeah. It just does. Like, I'm like, cringe.
I forgot to mention that I was watching this through the Showtime Android app, and to view it on my TV because I didn't have a cable, I was screencasting it, streaming from the phone to the TV, and the connection periodically would get very, like, jumpy, like, jerky, and it's hard to tell when David Lynch was making everything jerky and spazzy and when it was just my phone and the streaming to the TV. Yeah. And it got really bad toward the end when they were in the Bang Bang Bar in the Roadhouse. I mention this only because the scenes in the Black Lodge were, like, even more off-putting, I think, than they should have been because of how I was viewing it.
Everything's all jilted.
It was very, it could get like that, yeah.
So the next scene was this guy Jack we were introduced to in the diner giving Evil Coop some car keys. He's done something to the car, I think. Then what happens, guys?
Then he touches his face a lot, and you don't touch people's faces.
He touches his face.
Don't.
And he touches his face until he dies. I have a feeling if you did that to Brad, that's what would happen.
No, the second it happened, I'm pulling out a gun and blowing my head off. Absolutely.
But if you were unable to, if somebody just massaged your jaw enough, you would just straight up die.
Oh yeah, I just have a stroke. Like, I'd be dying. Like,
the stranger's touching you. Yeah, you can't have
gross.
that.
So gross. Touching your face. Oh, with their hands, with their gross hands. If a man wearing a fucking snakeskin shirt ever touches my face, guys, write my obituary immediately.
Get the Brillo pads, scrub that shit right off.
The first time I watched that, I didn't get that he died, so it was just weird. But then the second time, I was like, "Oh, he's dead!" Like at the last few seconds, you can tell he's dead.
It's weird.
And I'm like, "That's kind of creepy."
I think it was just more distracting because he was just like, you're like thinking like, "What? Why? Why is this happening?"
Yeah.
And why is it taking so long? Also, and I'm watching it now, a video file, and the frame freezes there, and that's another one of those instances where, like, is that my streaming? And it wasn't. It was actually Lynch that time, so.
Yeah, this Bob is way less fun. Like, there's no singing or dancing.
We never really saw Bob singing or dancing, just when he was in Leland.
Yeah.
Maybe that was an aspect of Leland.
Perhaps.
We can hold out hope that Evil Cooper will start singing and dancing at some point.
That would be so great.
Then he comes back to a motel where Daria is waiting on the bed, and he interrupts a phone call. She hangs up real quick. And then we learn that Jack was doing something to the receptionist's car, is what he was doing. which I don't think it's revealed what that was. And Ray was supposed to meet with Evil Cooper, but he's in prison? Except I'm not sure if he's actually in prison, because Coop's like, you expect me to believe he's in prison for running drugs or guns across the border. I couldn't tell what was happening. There's a lot happening in this scene.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you guys have any notes in this scene? Rather than me trying to explain it.
Like, it takes him so long to kill her. It's like, oh, would you please just hurry up and kill her? This is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, let's get this over with, because she keeps trying to get away, and he keeps just wrestling her back down, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's so brutal.
The pacing of this, it just went on too long, and it was too slow, and I couldn't engage with it. Not knowing enough about who these people were or what they're even talking about.
Yeah.
I checked out. Like, mentally, I was like, I'll come back to this when it gets interesting again.
That is another thing about this show so far, is that we're being introduced to all these characters that keep dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, we barely know these people, and now it seems like they're gone. Maybe not Ray, but...
I'm like, where are Dick Tremaine and Little Nicky?
I feel that...
Seriously?
Yeah. I feel that with, like, all the guest stars that David Lynch kind of got for this show, though, I feel like that's what's going to happen to a lot of the characters. They're just going to play, like, these little bit parts and be gone.
Hey, it's me! Goodbye!
Yeah.
I can't wait till Jim Belushi dies.
If Jim Belushi doesn't get sucked into a drawer, I am fucking out of this reboot.
Just
I'll
let
declare
a
it
fucking
disaster.
let a black box monster shred him to bits.
Shredded by a box monster or sucked into your bedside table. I don't either way. Someone needs to be turned into furniture is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's revealed that Ray and Daria were hired by somebody to kill Coop. Ray's been in talks with Philip Jeffries, apparently. A name I did not expect to hear, since there's no David Bowie that we know of. I don't know who Philip Jeffries' side, I don't know whose side he's on. I have no idea. It feels like after he kills her, he goes to a computer and does some things, and it seems like he's expecting to be talking to Philip Jeffries on the phone.
Yeah.
But it's not him. And we don't know who
So
it is.
it was supposed to be, but it wasn't? Because it didn't sound like Philip Jeffries.
No, he didn't have the accent. And he's like, this is Philip Jeffries, asking. And the guy didn't say yes or no. He just said, I think he just said, no, you'll be back in the Black Lodge soon or something like that.
He also mentions, he says something about he knows that Evil Coop here has apparently been in touch with Garland Briggs.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, are we talking about Briggs being alive currently?
They could be talking about that scene in the book where he after he goes to see Garland right before he leaves Twin Peaks.
It seemed like he was talking about more current, so I was like, is there a chance that Briggs is still alive?
Yeah, it would be weird to reference a meeting that happened 25 years ago.
Which, I mean, obviously, Adonis Davis is dead now, but it would be nice if there would still be Major Briggs somehow involved in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He could be played by a tree.
Sure.
This is the evolution of Briggs.
I mean, you can't really recast him.
No.
I think you could possibly recast Bowie.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a 5-second scene in the movie.
Yeah.
But still, he looks so distinctive, though. I feel like it would be hard to recast somebody like that.
Get James Urbaniak. Have him do it.
Did you guys recognize the name on the computer of where the federal prison was located?
What was it? Oh, the location?
Yeah.
Yankton.
Yankton.
I was like, Matt's probably happy.
Exclamation point.
What's going
Rarely
on?
use them, Brad. I rarely use exclamation points, but I did when I saw Yankton, so...
Deadwood.
What the hell are we doing with this computer graphics?
I don't know.
Hey, David Lynch, could you not hire the people that did Hackers? Because this looks like garbage.
We also learned a couple things. A playing card and said, "This is what I want. I want."
It's like the face of an ant.
Yeah, I thought it was like the logo for the that comedic superhero, the Tick. I thought that was.
Well, clearly it was a leg. I mean, come on. That's what a leg looks like. An arm looks like a tree with a heart on it. A leg looks like a bloated ant.
Yeah, I thought that was funny that they kind of made him into a hacker now. Like, it's kind of weird.
Is he a hacker, or does he somehow still have FBI credentials?
There's no way. There's no way.
I think
he's gonna be a hacker.
What's happening is, because clearly they put in those terminal graphics like way later, because Kyle MacLachlan is just clickety clack clack clacking on that keyboard, just typing constantly. Seemingly, I don't know what he's typing because it doesn't show up on the screen. It's the worst someone using a computer in a movie cliche ever. I don't even know what's going on.
David Lynch doesn't understand modern technology. It's all right.
He does use the Twitter though. He
knows how to use the Twitters.
What is his recording device that recorded the phone call that was going on when he walked in the room?
Yeah.
He's got all this weird, James Bond tech that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of his...
Which is why I think he's running the show with that New York building.
You think he's a secret billionaire? He's independently wealthy?
Yeah, I feel like he's gotten his money through, some bad scheming stuff.
Who, David Lynch?
No, yes, David Lynch, yes,
no. Evil Cooper.
Evil Cooper.
Has David Lynch put himself into Twin Peaks the way that Stephen King put himself into the Dark Tower series, and he's actually the billionaire who's funding the project?
Oh my god.
That'd be funny.
And he's played by a tree.
Let's replace everyone with trees. So then he goes to see someone a few doors down, and he wants her to clean the room where Daria was killed. So this is an associate of his that he already had that Daria and Ray didn't know about, I guess. Her name's Chantel, I think. He's sending her and her husband, Hutch, somewhere. I didn't catch it all.
Can we talk about the amount of cheese-flavored products in this room?
On the floor, everywhere.
There's we got Cheez-Its, Cheetos, multiple, shitty convenience cheese-flavored products.
She's got a terrible diet going on, and then she's got the can of pop, too,
Yeah. With a straw.
I love Cheez-Its, though.
Mm.
Oh, nobody does trashy, sort of kind of trashy as well as Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah.
Right in her wheelhouse is this character.
And then Cooper grabs her crotch.
It sounded like leather when he but it didn't sound like it was coming from his arm. It sounded like
her leathery crotch.
It was just like a sound.
Oh.
I can imagine if you eat that many Cheez-Its, that's what...
You just turn into a leather person?
Yes.
So then we go back to the Red Room, and there's something, the tree says something about 253? I don't know what that is. Those aren't the same numbers that the giant said in the first scene of the series, is it?
No, the giant said 450. I mean, come on, obviously.
And they tell him he can go now.
They're trying to fuck with him.
But he seems to be having trouble leaving. And he runs into Leland on the way out. We talked about that. And then the arm warns about his doppelganger, which turns out to be shapeshifted into one of those white statues. And ambushes Cooper when it looks like he's about to jump out of the Red Room into
that highway?
Onto the car that Evil Coop is driving. I don't know if he was supposed to just go right into his body while he's driving or how that's supposed to work. But instead he gets ambushed by another tree with a slab of meat on top of it, and then he falls into some water. The ground goes all weird and he falls into some water.
No, before doing a little river dance on that floor.
Yeah. That was kind of ridiculous looking. And all the effects here. Oof. All I can say is it must be intentional, because it can't be this bad if they're trying their hardest. I don't know. And do you guys think the Red Room itself is CG? I think it might be. Like, it's not an actual, like, the background isn't an actual, like, red drape and stuff.
I don't know.
I didn't think that was true.
Okay, well, maybe...
Yeah.
Maybe part of it? I don't know.
The floor, like, when the floor shifted and stuff, that was
yeah.
totally CG, but...
Probably, yeah.
No, that was practical.
Totally practical. David Lynch crafted that floor himself.
The most impractical practical effect.
That's why it took so long to get this on the air. He was building that floor.
Yeah.
First, he had to learn how to, do woodworking. Or tile work.
And then he falls through the floor into some water, and then he lands on top of the box in New York, and then he kind of phases through it.
Yeah.
I kind of like this because at least we were going full circle on that plot line. So it's like, okay, so I assumed that it was either a camera or a telescope or something looking into the Red Room in that dimension, and this confirms it. So at least that was answered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's revealed that he was there moments before those two people who got killed came back in. So I wonder if they were in there at the time, would they have seen him? Don't know.
I'm thinking, because of course, obviously everything's filmed, so when they find these dead bodies, and they have to look at that footage, hopefully this means this video gets to Gordon Cole, and we start doing some investigating with characters we know.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully this billionaire is Gordon Cole.
Because you're going to have to investigate these dead bodies.
Yeah. Somebody's got to find them, hopefully.
So, then hopefully there'll be video of Cooper in that box.
Yeah. Going in and out. That was a weird effect, yeah, when he was shuddered in and out. Wasn't a fan of that effect. And then he's falling through, like, what seems like oblivion. So the evil tree, like, is trying to banish him into oblivion so he can't go into Bob's, or, like, replace Bob. So evil arm is working with Bob.
So these were different trees. I get my trees confused. Is that racist?
Yeah. No, I did
Soup's
too.
racist.
I didn't realize that there was a doppelganger tree. Like, I didn't realize that...
Well,
I know he said it, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize that that's what it was. It wasn't clear, I guess, to me, but I just thought the tree was freaking out all of a sudden. I didn't...
I didn't know either.
Not yet, it's not time! You're gonna fall! Be careful!
I was like, I want to see Nadine lifting heavy things.
Seriously.
Where are Nadine and Mike?
Cutest couple. Then we go to Sarah Palmer. We go to the Palmer house.
Yay!
I was excited to see.
I love Grace Zabriskie.
Yeah.
I was excited for a second, but I needed this scene to end, like, real quick.
Why? Because of the gore?
Yeah, I don't want to watch, like, fucking... She's just watching animals gore each other for what seems like 30 minutes.
It was a beautifully framed shot, though. I thought the image,
With the mirrors and stuff?
yeah,
That
the
was kinda
dark
neat.
room and the mirrors showing the bright, like, blue tint of the TV behind her. I thought it was composed really well.
I just
It
want
was
to
kind of
see...
disturbing that
Yeah.
she was watching that.
She looks surprised by it. She's like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh."
like invested in this.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to see, like a evil, like a Leland or something in the mirror.
Yeah, I kept looking for, like, a Bob, digital Bob insert.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Matt, before I cut you off?
This Matt or that Matt?
Yeah, Matty.
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
For a second, since we had Coop falling right before this, I was like, oh, please let him rematerialize in the Palmer house.
Oh.
But he didn't.
I kind of thought that he was going to get out at that point, and it's like, okay, so he'll be back in Twin Peaks next episode. Like, this was 2 hours, but it's 2 hours of setup. Okay, we're done.
Oh, he just lands in Sarah Palmer's body.
Oh my
He's like, I'm Sarah Palmer now. What the fuck? And then we go to the Roadhouse.
Oh boy.
Which, it looks
This is
more
when-
like the Bronze than the Roadhouse.
This is when viewing parties around the globe just like lose their shit.
Yes. Yeah.
So many things to comment on in here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For question one, well, first of all, when did this place turn into like a weird hipster place? Like, there's a dude with a straight up man bun in here. That's not okay.
The Roadhouse has been gentrified.
Also, the guy that comes in with Bobby with the one green glove.
Yeah, is it like a gardening glove or something?
It's very
It
strange.
comes in with James, you mean?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it comes in with James. I'm wishing Bobby was here. Sorry.
I was like, yeah, there's too many people in here enjoying like a high budget
It looked way
concert.
bigger.
It's so crowded.
Yeah.
It looks so big. Like, that's not the Roadhouse that I remember.
I was expecting Twin Peaks to be like a town in economic decline. All the young people moved away.
Yeah.
There's no industry. But no, it's like a major city hub now.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
a
didn't-
tech industry, and that explains the man buns and hipsters.
Oh, it's all
Ugh.
startups.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
It's the Snoqualmie Valley. It's a rival to Silicon Valley.
I feel like it would have been kind of interesting to explore the fact that the town was kind of on the decline or
Yeah.
something. It would have been,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I long ago, I've always envisioned the opening credits of the season going to the exact same shots as the original season, except just decrepit. Everything decrepit.
Oh, that's sad.
But,
I'm predicting self-driving logging trucks.
straight out of Logan. So yeah,
So-
we see. Oh, you got something?
Oh, go for
Monster
it, go for it.
sighting at
Yeah.
1 hour
Monster
50
sighting.
minutes.
You mean Walter Olkowitz,
Yeah.
who?
Who in the credits is listed as Jean-Michel Renault.
Yeah.
Which I was listening to our old episodes, and that's something we joked about. Was another Renault brother coming out of the woodwork, and you were like, I think you said, "Hello, I am Pierre Renault" or something like that. But we got Jean-Michel instead. It was kind of great though. He kind of looked like he was brain dead. He wasn't like serving any drinks. He was just like, duh.
That's what the actor brings to the role.
Yeah. Listen, he's working through a lot of thetans right now.
Those thetans, yeah. So also, yeah, there's James and there's Shelley, and it is now official Twin Peaks lore. James is cool. James was always so cool. This is
No
just David
comments.
Lynch giving a big fuck you to everyone.
You can say it all you want. Never gonna buy it.
And it's funny that Shelley said it. Like, she has no...
I thought it was really cool the way he cried all the time.
Yeah. Don't know why! Why? It's wrong! But I also love that she explains he's been in a motorcycle accident and now he's somehow dumber.
This all made me so happy to be back in this place.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why
I
it's
was
feeling different,
I was
yeah.
super excited about hearing about Shelley's daughter like drama.
Becky? Yeah.
Like this is the show I want to see.
Yeah, her daughter Becky's dating some no-good punk. And also, yeah, James is making eyes at one of her friends. She's with 3 friends who we don't know who they are. He came in with somebody who we don't know who it is. And Shelley is between, like, appearing to long for James a little bit. She's also making contact with a character played by Balthazar Getty from Lost Highway. So it seems like they may be involved, so maybe her and Bobby are no longer a thing.
Did Shelley ever have scenes with James?
No,
No.
not really.
Because, for a lot of the TV show, I was very confused about Shelley's relationship to the other characters because she looked the same age as the kids, but she was not in school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she quit school, yeah.
To marry Leo.
To marry Leo at 17.
Yeah.
Ugh. Worst idea.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's going to be some sort of weird, not a love triangle, love quadrangle? I don't know. What do you call that? What
Love
would you call-
square.
A love square. There's going to be a love square between Shelley, James, this guy she's looking at, and Bobby.
Bobby wins always.
Bobby always wins the love square.
I mean, come on, he's the best.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the music in this scene?
Except for when he's screaming about baby laxatives.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, what'd you think of the music? It wasn't Julie Cruz. I expected them to open with Julie Cruz. I believe she's confirmed to be in the series at some point.
It was Julie Cruz-esque.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like a modern Julie Cruz.
Uh,
I liked it.
Not my kind of music, but yeah.
yeah, it fits.
It
does
fit.
Yeah.
It's my brother's kind of music. This whole episode was making him angry, and then at the end he's like, "Oh yeah," brought him right back.
It worked. I mean, it definitely brought me back to the show as well. So,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very happy during this. I should have worn my Bang Bang bar shirt because I've got one of those from the Fall City Roadhouse. I'm wearing my my owls are not what they seem shirt right now. Just want to point that
Nice.
out there.
Nice.
See, I am a real fan. People out there who are upset.
We'll leave that to the iTunes reviewers to decide.
Okay, so we have any ratings for this one? Do you want to go first, Matt?
Sure. I will say that I like this less than the previous installment. There were fewer scenes with characters I enjoyed until the very end. There was a big section of this big chunk that was very slow and confusing with characters I didn't know. That scene with I think it's Clint Eastwood's daughter and Cooper, fake Cooper, in the hotel room just dragged, and then there's just a lot of it just felt dark and heavy and not in a good way, and I couldn't engage with it. But the good scenes with Matthew Lillard were at the front of the episode, so it just got progressively more taxing for me. So I'm gonna, what did I give the last one? 6 maybe?
Something
5?
like that. Something like that.
Okay, I'll go with 4 out of 10. It was worth it last time. The wait was worth it last time. I don't know. 4 out of 10 boxes of Cheez-Its. I don't know.
Nice.
Cheez-Its on the floor. Matt just left. So, Brad, what did you think?
I like this. I really like the second half. Much more than the first half. Because in the first half I was still very concerned that this was just going to be real David Lynch territory, and it wasn't going to have like the charm of Twin Peaks, and I think that's still definitely a question. Because I think that's what current David Lynch projects and films are missing. There's no charm to them. But I have some hope now because I feel like we're setting up plot in this episode a lot. We're like we're getting exposition. We're getting set up with whatever the hell Coop's working on, evil Coop. We know that real Cooper is like going to be getting out of the lodge hopefully soon. Like things are actually moving, which I find refreshing in a David Lynch property.
Yeah.
So I feel hopeful that there's a chance that this is going to be a solid project. Because that's one thing I was concerned about, like coming back to Twin Peaks. Is David Lynch going to be willing to tell a story that actually moves forward as opposed to just lingers on things? And I think we've gotten a lot of setup, which gives me hope that there's a story. I like of course I like all the Twin Peaks stuff the most, but Matthew Lillard's great. All the Black Lodge stuff is Black Lodge stuff, and that was delightful. I love Evil Coop's stupid computer. And whoever the hell he's talking to that's not Philip Jeffries. So, I don't know, there's a lot to like. And then we get the scene at the bar at the end, which was great. Despite that insane line. Because James was never cool. Never.
It's canon now. You can't.
Nope.
You can't deny it.
It's as canon as that book.
No, only thing that canon is that Shelley has just terrible taste in men.
What? Well, no, but Bobby. I need to see Bobby Briggs, Ed and Norma and Nadine. That's what I fucking need desperately, more than anything else.
They're all in it.
So I hope we get to them soon. But I know I really, really, really like this, and the second half definitely brought it up for me. So I'm gonna say 7.5 tree arms.
Mel?
Yeah. if I liked the tree and the concept of the tree and I understood the tree, I think I would have liked this episode more, but did not. So.
Me.
Yep, you.
Yeah. I found this episode, I think, more frustrating than the first one even. Even though I did like... There's some things that I liked more about it, but that was just, like, shorter snippets that I liked. Because I did like when the couple was arguing at the start of it, like, about the affairs, and I liked sort of like the Bang Bang Bar a little bit. I didn't like any of the Black Lodge stuff at all. Yeah, the special effects are just really, really bugging me. I just cannot get over them. I'm sorry. I'm trying. It's just, no. They're distracting. And I just find it's hard for me to focus on the story, whatever there is of it. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Episode 3, please be better. Or please be better for me, anyways. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10 deadly jaw massages.
Okay. I feel like I like this episode better than the first one, except for the tree. Yeah, the tree's not great. I kind of just wish they recast Michael J. Anderson with another little person.
Did it have to be a little person? I don't feel like it does.
Oh, okay. Well, if they want to do...
Like, it could have been anybody that has kind of like a unique look to them, you know?
Yeah.
Something to bring
maybe
to
the arm...
Black Lodge.
I mean, the arm did grow into a tree. I guess it could have grown into a taller person, too. But...
Is that how trees work?
Growth logic.
He doesn't know how banana bread works, but he knows how trees work.
I mean, why we have the giant in the black and white scenes. Like, where is he during all this Black Lodge stuff?
He's hanging out in the apartment, cooping.
I guess
those dishes.
He's waiting for pest control to come over. Someone's got to sneak behind for that.
Yeah,
it's true.
There was a lot of stuff dropped on us in the motel room scenes that we're still wondering about. We don't have any concrete info about the plot. But anyways, I liked it better. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 electric exposition trees.
I do feel like this show is gonna take some time
to grow on you.
Yeah, it's gonna have to, like, at least I'm hoping. It's just,
I think my expectations were very low.
Me too. Like, I had no expectations whatsoever. I was like, this is probably gonna be horrible, and I feel like it was. But
your expectations were low, and you're still disappointed.
Yeah, I was still disappointed. Like, I don't know.
Disappointed but not surprised.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that David Lynch was directing all the episodes, I got very concerned.
Yeah, well, same. Like, that was my concern. I just don't want it. As much as I do like some of his movies, I just didn't want that to happen to Twin Peaks.
Yeah. I like this thinking of it as a David Lynch project. When I think of it as Twin Peaks, I'm like it much less.
Yeah.
Because it's not charming. Like, that's what we're not having any of.
Yeah. I still feel like there's time for it to get there, but yeah. I wish it had opened with a bit of that. Just so it would be more inviting. Okay, so optional quotes. Did anyone do any quotes?
It wasn't very quotable.
It wasn't.
No.
But
the only one I really have is the one that the tree doppelganger said, which was very creepy, actually, when it went non-existent, and then it sent them to limbo or whatever.
That was just weird.
I found it very creepy.
I didn't write down quotes.
I did not either.
I like the...
no problem.
I like the, you're going down! Life in prison!
Yeah. Also, you're a bad girl, Tracy.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But yeah, that was about it.
Okay, so...
I just wanted to say, I thought it was strange where he's like, do you want to go make out a little? And then they just fuck. It's like, is this how these millennials define making out a little?
Yeah.
That's what your parents were saying when we were watching it with it. They were like, is this what your kids call making out nowadays?
Is this necking? Okay, so who wants to read our first feedback? Oh, by the way, some of the feedback had stuff from episode 3 and 4 in it, so I pulled a TP and I redacted a lot of it.
Nice.
Dude, not cool, people. Come on.
Well, it's my fault. I should have said that we were only recording 1 and 2.
I think you did.
Okay, well, I should have made it more clear. I should have said it twice.
No, don't blame yourself. Blame the listeners.
Anyways, listeners, some of you
It's all
may
your
have-
fault, listeners.
Okay, so
Do you want me to read this one?
sure.
Okay. Greetings from Northern Ireland. I apologize in advance as I stayed up till 4 a.m. to watch the premiere live, so my thoughts might be scatterbrained. Longtime fan of the podcast, watched all the original series and Firewalk with me prior to the new season, and listened to every episode of the podcast. I found your insights both amusing and illuminating. Thanks.
Thank you. And you didn't find them infuriating. Good.
You didn't find that it was like kids at a lunchroom table, like laughing at each other's jokes or whatever the fuck that one review said.
What if that's what we are? Who cares?
What if we are recording this at lunch at our high school?
Yeah, so what?
So what?
We'll be very late to class.
Yeah.
Oh god, Mr. Stevens is gonna flunk me.
He goes on to say, I really enjoyed the premiere. I am glad Frost and Lynch were not afraid to go all out. Loved all the Black Lodge stuff, although the arm tree reminded me of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
I was impressed by Bob Coop, Boop. Even if McLaughlin's hair will never be as squirrely and messy as Frank Silva's.
Truth.
I admit I welled up slightly at the Log Lady's appearances. Rest in peace, Catherine Coulson. Yeah, that was sad. I am very intrigued at where they are going with Laura Palmer. Do you have any theories about what Leland meant by find her?
I think I went over mine. That maybe she escaped the lodge, and you gotta find her now.
I admit I got an unintentional laugh out of Shelley saying James was always cool. She's obviously never heard him sing. Overall, I give it 8 arm plants out of 10. Best wishes, Luke Bannon. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Arm plants.
Alright, I'll put the next one in there. Ooh, stop scrolling so much. Stupid word pad. Okay. Here we go. Do you want to take that one, Brad?
Sure. And you guys thought Inland Empire was David Lynch at his most impenetrable. I still do. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is much. I think that's one of the reasons I like this so much. I think I'm grading against the curve of Inland Empire. First of all, it's great to have you all back! ! This was the first Twin Peaks related podcast I listened to because we were the first. And in my opinion, still the best. Thank you. I cannot wait to hear everyone's thoughts over the coming months, as I'm sure this will be the craziest season of television ever produced. Okay, let's get down to business. What the hell was that? ? I laughed. I almost cried, Log Lady, and I was quite shocked by what we saw. I never expected Lynch to repeat himself with this new season, but I had no idea how far he was going to stray from the original series. Can we be certain Frost had any involvement? Because from where I was sitting, this looked like 100% unfiltered Lynch.
Yep.
I say there's a shred of a plot happening, which leads me to believe Mark Frost did something. So, I'm sure the Showtime executives that hadn't seen a frame of footage are now scared shitless by what they saw. I'm pretty sure they didn't expect to be spending tens of $millions on a talking tree. Yeah, but a bunch of people have already paid for like Showtime subscriptions. They don't care anymore.
They just
they would. I think if it was 4 episodes like this, they would probably cancel after a month, which is again why they front loaded them.
Yeah.
They did announce that they've had their most amount of signups ever in the lead up to this.
Really?
I signed up.
Yeah.
For the free month, and then we'll see what happens after that.
I did the same. Thank you, Brad, for the tip.
Yeah, no problem. Everyone in the U.S., free month of Showtime subscription. All right, back to the email. Honestly, I literally breathed a sigh of relief when James walked into the bar and produced his cheesy smile. I hadn't been so happy to see James in ever.
True.
Parts in 1 and 2 were as exhilarating as they were frustrating. So many new characters, so many new places. I could barely keep up with who and what and where. Hopefully this will tie together in some fashion, but knowing Lynch's later period of work, I'm not predicting or betting on anything. Can't wait for the remaining episodes and to hear everyone's presumed bewilderment on what they just saw. Take care, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Indeed.
Okay, and the next one, do you mind reading one, Matt?
I will read one. To move my microphone look slightly here. Who's this from? This is from Ryan.
Yep.
Hello again. I was excited as the next guy for the new season and had been waiting for this since 1991. I was cautious, however. My caution kept my expectations somewhat low, especially after reading the book, and stopped me from fast-forwarding through much of these first few episodes. So, okay, he's watched all 4.
Yeah,
Besides,
there are some redacted things.
all right. Besides storyline, which I won't get into, my criticism lies in the lack of charm compared to the original series. Yes, it's simply missing. There are a couple of factors I've drawn for this conclusion. Number 1, so far, much of the story hasn't taken place in Twin Peaks. New York and Vegas do not have any charm or substance for that matter. Oh, boy.
Fighting words.
Wow. Sorry, people who live in those towns.
Hey, big city slickers, fuck y'all.
And while they are trying to make Buckhorn, South Dakota something like Twin Peaks, it really misses the mark and seems contrived. Number 2, the music is missing. Yeah. Matt, did you write this? The music provides the background and foreshadowing throughout the series, but music is not utilized much in these episodes. Lynch relies on industrial sounds that do provide tone to the scenes, but doesn't give way to the charm we are familiar with. I can't remember which episode it is, but when Redacted is introduced, the music is used, and that charm begins to creep back, but it is short-lived, or short-lived, depending on how you pronounce that. Number 3, I'm finding the missing original characters and the introduction of so many new characters also was taking away from the charm. Many of the sheriff's department scenes would appear to work better if Harry were around. Similarly, it's a hard word for me to say, the Red Room is desperately missing Mike and Bob. With regard to new characters, I find myself crossing off the names from the cast list as if once they are used, the real show begins. Okay.
Nice.
Number 4, the Red Room has no depth. I'm not sure if a green screen is used, but it kind of looks like it. Additionally, the vocals and mouth movements are off and distracting. I wondered, this is me talking, I wondered again if that was my streaming affecting the way that those were playing. Number 5, special effects are overboard. Instead of all these effects, I wish they would have put the money to good use to recreate Bob like the Star Wars franchise did with Grand Moff Tarkin.
I don't think a TV show's ever done a CG character like that. I don't know if it's possible on a TV budget. Or if people would want it.
I would say probably not a character that had any long... Well, we'll think about that. He goes on to say, we'll see what the rest of the series brings. Positives. Agent Redacted. Deputy Chief Hawk. Exclamation point. Comma. Redacted. Negative. Vegas scenes, except redacted, are cringing. Comma. Redacted was also cringe-inducing. Bonus. Anyone notice the world's worst Photoshop job of the Brennan family Christmas picture in Lucy's office? Question mark.
We're gonna have to look this up.
I've heard it mentioned on other things, but yeah, I didn't take a good look.
Until next time, he says, until next time, exclamation point, Ryan Caldwell.
Thank you.
Read that like Brad would read that. Could you tell? You could.
Nice. Good work.
Do you want me to read this one, Matt? Because your voice is kind of...
Yeah, I'm all phlegmy. I apologize,
You're disgusting,
everyone. Okay, go ahead.
Welcome back, Twin Peaks Podcast, the ones who started it all.
Damn straight.
That's right. Looking forward to hearing you all riff on new material again, assuming you're all here. Matt, Melanie, Brad, Caitlin, and maybe even Claire. What about Matt A? He's the one that's here today.
Your name is Claire.
Your name is Claire today.
I would love to be Claire for a day.
That would be pretty awesome, I think. Just some scattered thoughts and impressions, hopefully not too long. Gotta say that new overhead shot of the waterfall for the theme song is breathtaking. And I also love the flame-like effect of the billowing red curtains. For the Eraserhead-like sequence with Carl Streaken's character, at least Cooper says, "I understand," because I sure as hell don't. Alright, stop scrolling, Matt. I'll scroll because you scroll and then I get lost. Okay, The Bad Dale is my favorite new character. Seeing Margaret, the log lady, in that state... What is that sound?
I think the cat's in one of the...
I was like,
cupboards.
Someone breaking in!
Keep going.
Sorry. Yeah, he's over there. Just get him out of there. It's really distracting. Okay. The Bad Dale is my favorite new character. Seeing Margaret, the log lady, in that state, knowing what health issues Catherine Coulson was going through in real life, was a major gut punch. I would have preferred Hawk's desk placard read Sheriff, but I guess I'll settle for Deputy Chief. Laura Palmer peeling her face open was like something out of Doctor Who. What do you think David Lynch was trying to convey here? That the identities of the characters we see in the Red Room are just interchangeable masks? Or that underneath the dead Laura is a luminous immortal soul?
I'd like to think it's that second one.
I like that second one. I like that's really well phrased.
Yeah. Bad Dale delivers the line, "Oh, you're nice and wet," in such a dry, unaroused way. So unsexy it makes me cringe, but it seems likely that may have been the point. Yeah, there was nothing about that scene that was sexy. Shelley unironically lets us know James is still cool. He's always been cool. Is that like Lynch's cute rebuttal for the fans' most universally derided character? When did they even hang out? When Bobby was telling her over breakfast sex how he was gonna fix James? Is Shelley cheating on Bobby with Balthazar Getty now, credited only as Red? Oh, that's his character's name? Red? The actor who played Jacques Renault is in the background tending the bar, but he's credited as Jean-Michel Renault. So I guess there's yet another Renault brother with a bad French-Canadian accent out there.
Maybe it's a good accent this time.
That's from Daniel. Thanks, Daniel.
What if he's gotten really good at the accent?
Yeah. He's been practicing the whole time.
Oh, look at the photo.
Okay, I'm just grabbing the next feedback.
I'm better at the accent now. Give me money.
Yeah.
Money, please.
Please, money, 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 money.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the kid.
Yeah, that Andy's head is just like it's disembodied. It's just floating
not the
there.
greatest
No.
Can't open it.
Photoshop.
Wait.
I'll try to read one. Alright, so this is from Harold. I'm so ecstatic over the return of Twin Peaks, I'll give you a few quick thoughts. I like the idea that the 25 years is related to some sort of important moment where the Coopers have to switch places, sort of like how the portal to the lodges was only open when Jupiter and Saturn meet. I think there were more Red Room scenes in these two episodes than there were in the entire original series. That's quite possible, yeah. That is not necessarily a good thing, though. Sometimes it is good to keep the mystery. I didn't like some of the choices with those sequences, especially the special effects.
Here, here.
The highlights for me were the room with the glass box, the principal who is suspected of murdering the librarian, and Evil Cooper. It is a bonus that all three seem to be connected. I also love the business with the police trying to get access to Miss Davenport's room. But Evil Cooper is the best. He's still recognizably Cooper. He's still the guy who somehow knows what people are thinking or planning, except he's using it for his own purposes instead of for good. As someone who always liked James, I had to laugh at the meta moment when Shelley tries to gaslight the fandom that James has always been cool.
I love that.
Speaking of fandom, I know Walter Olkowitz is not the most popular guy, but I love the absurdity of seeing him behind the bar at the Roadhouse and listed in the credits as playing Jean-Michel Renault. Is he Jacques' identical cousin? And what a fuck you to Michael Anderson by replacing him with a steroidal version of Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. That's evolution? Harold.
Like trees work.
Thanks, Harold.
Yep. Thanks, Harold. We got one left. Who wants to read it?
I can read it. I dutifully watched the first 4 episodes of season 3, and in 4 hours I saw about 15 minutes of Twin Peaks. Oh no. The rest was David Lynch examining the inside of his own ass. Oh, well, high hopes for episode 5. High hopes for episode 5. I don't know why I'm so optimistic, but whatever.
I'm glad you are.
Listen, I'm just an optimistic person. I believe in the best in people and the best in the world.
If there's one thing we know about Brad, it's that.
I just try to look at the bright side of everything, guys. That's what I'm known for. We all know by now what it means to see a David Lynch movie. But we also know he can bring characters and write dialogue. I just wish he had done either of those things a little more. Watching Cooper not be Cooper is as fun as eating imaginary ice cream. That could be fun. You don't know. Delicious.
Or imaginary cow pus if you're a guy.
For the record, I'm not talking about evil Cooper. He's fine. I'm talking about the redacted. In the plus column, I was happy to see James get a not at all subtle redemption. And I thought Matthew Lillard was excellent. That was one awfully sad cameo by Log Lady. I liked it, but holy cow, indeed. An awful lot of this new show is bullshit, and I will consume it by the plateful, because that's the deal I made.
Oh my god, what's this deal?
Oh, love Chris. Oh, Chris, put that Garmin Bozia down.
So we've got 2 audio feedbacks. Are either of you able to play them?
I could probably do it because I've got another computer right here that I can turn the speakers on for.
Cool.
Nice.
Before we started this recording, we were talking about how Matt's brother Kyle, who's a vegan, disapproves of ice cream and calls it cow pus. Yeah. So now I'm just imagining you eating actual ice cream, and he's like, this imaginary ice cream's just as fun.
Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Matt B here with some brief thoughts on episodes 1 and 2 of The Return of Twin Peaks. When this was first announced, I was concerned that it wouldn't be very good at all. The more and more I heard, though, I got more confident about the quality of what we would get, though I was concerned we might go full Lynch and lose some of the humour and more traditional TV elements that, when mixed with David Lynch's craziness, made the show so amazing in the first place. And sure enough, what we got was definitely unconstrained Lynch. All the tropes were there, the static cameras, the empty long shots, and the painful pauses in dialogue. There was, though, a surprising for me anyway, lack of incidental music, not enough of Angelo Badalamenti's score that of course mixed so well in the original series and then the film. There was lots of things there that made me smile, though. The opening shots of the Red Room floor, the first notes of Falling by Julie Cruz, little touches like the sign on Lucy's desk that announces her as Lucy Brennan. I liked that. Ben still has the sign on his desk, that goofy wooden sign. Hawk, somehow, all this time later, he's still a deputy, even though there seems to be no sheriff in town at the moment. Speaking of Hawk, the conversations he had with the log lady were, they really made me smile. They were also poignant, obviously knowing what happened to Catherine Coulson soon after filming, and I found it quite touching when he said "Good night, Margaret" a couple of times. What else did we have? The evolution of the arm. Not crazy about that. Reminded me of one of the trees around Glastonbury Grove. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit there. Ben and Jerry, just like old times, like that. And the closing music, I really loved that. In terms of the plot, we got Bad Coop, seemingly an amalgam of lots of David Lynch characters from various films. That storyline didn't really grip me until he called Philip and Major Briggs was mentioned. He thought that was Philip Jeffries. To me, sounded like Mike or Philip Gerard. See what happens with that. The glass box in New York was intriguing. I guess that was some sort of lodge interface. It's a classic Lynch MacGuffin and classic Lynch imagery. The real sense of foreboding with the continual shots of the empty box. The audience is just waiting for something to appear. And when those two numpties get it on, you know something will appear in that box. With all the cameras, I thought we might see Philip Jeffries or something like that. I wasn't expecting that. No idea what that was. maybe some sort of doppelganger. Don't know. Look forward to finding out, or not, as the case may be. The fanboy in me enjoyed the Red Room sequences, but to be honest, I did want more of the familiar characters. We got one scene with Ben and Jerry. We got a cameo from Ray Wise, and then a glimpse at the very end of some of the characters, Shelley and James there, including a bartender who seems to be a relative of Jacques, Bite the Bullet Baby Renault. Well, we'll see who that is and whether he will play a bigger part in this series. I suppose I will have to be patient. As usual with Lynch's work, lots of questions raised, most of which I'm sure will never be explicitly answered. At the start, where are Coop and the Giants in that first scene, the scene in black and white? And is that even the Giant? Because in the credits, its character is named just as a bunch of question marks.
Oh, yeah.
What on earth is Dr. Jacoby up to? No idea. Who is bankrolling the glass box shenanigans in New York? A big one for me is whether all of this action is happening simultaneously. The bad Cooper seems younger to me than he should be if it were 25 years on. And also, I'm not sure about this one, but it seemed to me that his scenes were with a slightly different colour palette, bit of a richer red colour, but I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong about that. And of course the biggest question for me that's not answered is what happened to Audrey? I need to know that soon. There's probably more too, but I've been babbling on for too long as it is. I think for a start to a new season, I mean, it's definitely piqued my interest, if you'll excuse that unintended pun. And I look forward to hearing your theories and hopefully finding out some answers, although, like I say, knowing David Lynch, we probably won't. I'm going to try not to overthink any of this just yet and just take it all in and enjoy the ride, and I hope you guys do too. Speak to you later. Cheers.
Thanks,
Aww.
Matt.
It's kind of nice to hear Matt Bay's voice.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. Aww.
We've done like 3 or 4 podcasts since
Yeah,
collectively.
exactly.
Where have you been?
He's right, though, about the Giant not being credited as the Giant like he was in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Now it's just question marks.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more, and that's from Will.
This is Will. Yes, I watched the first 2 episodes last night. I was going to watch all 4, but by the time we finished episode 2, my friend and I were both really, really tired, so we just decided to save the other 2. And, I wasn't expecting it to be the same show from 25 years ago. I figured the tone, it would just be a different kind of show. I don't know, did I like it or did I not like it? I don't know. I don't really know what this is. This is so weird, and it's kind of what I'm kind of expecting from David Lynch. I think visually, yes, it's an interesting show. I'm definitely intrigued by the 1,000,001 storylines that were introduced. I'm interested to see how it all goes together. Didn't see a whole lot of old characters. I kind of hoping to see more of them as the season goes along. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting show. Can't wait to see where it goes. It's very Lynchian, of course. My friend and I were joking that, these 18 episodes would probably be 10 if it were directed by someone else. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to see what happens. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about it. And I will talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks.
Wonder if he watched with his friend that he went to the Twin Peaks Fest with in 2014. So that's all our feedback. Thanks, everyone, and continue to send it in for next time. This is a very long episode, and next...
A couple of our Facebook friends just wrote some comments here.
Did they?
Yeah, Dave Maresca says, I'm a hardcore fan from original broadcast, and I'm definitely forcing myself to enjoy the return more than I was hoping to. Having said that, there are parts that are absolutely fucking brilliant. And Chris says, Well, Harold, first of all, said the 4th episode felt closer to the original Twin Peaks, so hold on. And Christopher Jordan Cook replied, yeah, I get the sense we're getting on track at that point.
All right.
And then he does say, Chris says, I'm worried that I might be Emperor's New Closing my way through this, but I'm glad to say that my enjoyment appears genuine. As Judy Pfaffenberger used to say, you get used to hanging if you hang long enough. It's a family friend. You don't know what that is, but she used to say that. I don't know where she got that from, but it always sticks in my mind that you can get used to hanging if you hang long enough.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom. All right, so, yeah, this ran long, so we'll head out now. But first, Matt, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, I'll get a couple of these out of the way. You and I, Matt, do a podcast sometimes about video games, and that's called Matt is Wrong About Games. I do a podcast with Will, who you just heard give audio feedback, and that podcast is about the Starz series Spartacus. It's called Spartacast. You can find us at spartacast.com. We are currently covering the prequel miniseries, 6-part miniseries, before we get back into the series proper. In June, I'm a co-host of Clone Dance Party, which is an Orphan Black podcast. And then my big podcast that I host and produce is Hooplecast, hooplecast.com. I do that with Matt and Mel.
Yeah.
This podcast, they are my Hoople heads. Yeah. We did a deep dive into Deadwood for 36 episodes. That's where we get the name of the podcast from. Deadwood is a great show. Lots of colorful, kooky characters. There is a Twin Peaks actor who does appear on the show. Well, I think we decided that he was there. He was credited.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, Dana Ashbrook. Shows up at some point. But we finished Deadwood, so now we're just talking about the premiere episodes of HBO dramas, series and miniseries. So we have covered, we're doing chronologically, we have covered David Lynch's Hotel Room, which is a 3-part series, like miniseries before it was canceled. It's our least downloaded episode. So please, if you like David Lynch, you want to know what did they think of Hotel Room? We covered it on Hooplecast, so make sure you look that up. Hopefully this weekend we'll be talking about 6 Feet Under and Band of Brothers. Those are the next 2 that we're going to cover.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Track it down.
And Brad, what do you got?
You guys can hear me on the Ramjack podcast. Most recently, we just did our monster bracket for 2017. A bunch of people got together, talked about the scariest monsters we had encountered in real life. Very shocking, very upsetting. If you want to hear about some creatures in the world, please listen to that.
I did not nominate my parents for that. I don't know where you got misunderstood.
Sorry. I know they were scandal monsters and not monsters. I was really pulling because I didn't want to go through and search and find all the listener submitted monsters. We already had 30. It was too many. So also you can hear me on Calavici Fashion Cast talking about every episode of Quantum Leap with friends of the podcast, Tammy and Claire. That's at calfashioncast.com.
Cool. And I am on those podcasts that Matt mentioned, and also one specifically about one video game called Shenmue. The podcast is Shenmue AM2 Podcast. And recently I was on as a guest talking about Twin Peaks fandom on a show called Fanthropological. So that was a lot of fun. Check that out. Not talking about Twin Peaks itself so much, but the fans of Twin Peaks. And also I'm on the Defenders podcast with Claire. So if you like Claire, check out the Defenders podcast where we talk about the Marvel Netflix series.
Hey, I like Claire.
Everyone likes Claire.
How could you not?
You wanted to be Claire for a second.
I want a straight up body swap situation. I'll be her for a day, she can be me for a day. Sorry, Claire. You got the raw end of the deal.
It's a Freaky Tuesday kind of thing.
Yeah. Mel, do you have any secret podcasts?
No, sometimes I'm on Defenders when I have time.
Okay.
Sometimes, I'm always on Hooplecast, usually, so, yeah.
Cool. All right, well, we'll see
Still
you guys.
haven't started that Littlest Hobocast, but someday.
Can't wait.
Maybe tomorrow?
Maybe tomorrow.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Check us out on twitter.com/TwinPeaksCast. Search for the Twin Peaks Podcast group on Facebook. And visit us on twinpeakspodcast.blogspot.com. Email your feedback to twinpeakspodcast@gmail.com.
And I see you, and you see me, and I see you in the branches that blow, and I breeze, I see you, and I trees, I see you, and I trees, and